Abusiafo ma munyina ache emma kwaba eba UTV so anope a critical time. Na yemma kwaba na yedo asese odu TV na ato UTV so no na ye ka wo se ne ese de ye ka se ye ne honorable Isaac Adongo NDC mashebedwani obo Gatanga Central ene ne betwetwe enkomo ye hwe economy issues no ene niema NDC ahye bose se Ghana foto aba ma omu bio emo mo ba aba mu 2020 o betimi aye ede adom my Ghana ya ka se ebe ya obetimi do questions ana wo se musa credit kan e de abre se de ba ni nyina ye de betu edwa ne mama no pay emphasis da em special ice mineral water and eti mi nchen wonim se nsuo krogen a wonom a ebo apa boost immune system because the more obenum nsuo the more and obedwo so ama bibia e bia wadie wonom e wo kwamone so no a wash system ni nyina amana ababesin obi onum nsuo bia no de bia obohunu no very healthy o ahoden de bia na chese bibia beba nipediem no onyankopon aboa no wonum nsuo a na flash ni nyina amana ababesin o madama e na no pay ye de eye critical issues e brem no ye fa Afia Pokua vim lady anope ye behwe nsem bebre be ko economy nim unim say banking sector crisis e aba be ya asema MPP aban chese wa eni ye ma na no Bank of Ghana report a o de ba chese ne ukọ banking sectors na ahoden abam NDC amanyoko no say nyasa Ghana fo bebre awu e bia wa we agu enum ne ade ama kofa asema ba meka say men's gold fo bebre kwa customers o musika e wokam ya wan hwe ya e de asembeba o mampani dada mahama wo san praise obeba bio say oba Afia di kankra no obetu esika no e de ama ye behwe sa issue no e ba ne sen obenye esika no wahi na ode no atumi abo mbekọ akọbọ besia anase omukọ akọfe oil money because oil money nankasa no ye di kan e de free SHS dada nti oil money bi ani wa wo san akọfa e de aba behwe banking sector crisis no emu ye behwe infrastructure adan akwan no ne ade a NDC aban chemu se wa bono ho modern papa waka airport terminal 3 terminal 3 wo airport yi ene enwuma kete circle interchange na MPP for so kase ye circle interchange Pokua ase ene ebia tamale ni ade nyo kaboma circle interchange ba ko pe ya NDC ye ho ka ekra be nan interchange nan ho ka eno no akwa etwema mentwe ene ni nyina be settle ye ne economy simpanifo mo chade wo yesuapa wo do mu so betwetwe nkomo ami ya hwe se NDC plan na ode ba no ne kwaso anase nye ne kwaso na ne kase pa na ejapa transaction aba wonu se Ghana ha ye too gold wa che enye ne a me kase mia madanse amanse ne mia bebre takwa ayi akwatia diamond ye too agudie pa royalties etua no aban so okote company fufo amo discount akwakoto stock exchange na awo na ochena gold bie ni wonu ma beje ho royalties Ghana for seska no yetumi edi nkofo se da bi da aye family and friends sikedi osafuma fuba wom yewra dubo ahwe FS MPP presidential candidate ne ba edi aba bepie mu yewra Ken Ofoyata minister of finance ono ane secretary edi aba bepie mu na aye family and friends ana yesi lawyer for kra omo na ye transaction advisors a wo mo hwe dwumedie ni nyina so yewra Gabia Sayo Chidako ono ne law firm family and friends woncheni ana se we ade a ebeboa Ghana fo a so nipa ne asomasi ana obentemba emfa ho yemani ye adwuma no ana se yemani ye adwuma ne ebeye de follow your live ewo UTV Ghana your social media platforms na adwinche bia no wetu media abama yabo enkomo no na edina ahyeche so we live enkomo boy de bro ewo critical issues ono abo no pay yeda se yemo akwaba
meche so nyame na dom na
boga so ye
boga de ye gyina na so bibia be
because na se me so wakoto ho no ma adende na we yo
se fie di fie nti bibi kakra be hye me ho a na mpese me kofie mu me kofie na me ho esa na medwane abehya akra
wa be pe kakra be san de
akra bolga na nkasa de uduru ho ma na haba na de na mum adwuma no dodo na nso ewo akra nti o hwe kra du ebra na parliament ombeja kwan ni se na me ni ha na me constituency but ye hwe kwan be fa so a betimi aye mienu ni na
obi contest wo ho no ma na
MPP Nina or contested me the last time.
No one is contested. And there was so bad she says so no so ground.
Also, my across all money, I mean, that's all no sooner. Until you know, so bad she.
Honorable young chas yet, me what is the distance between Bogatanga and Wale? Maybe I unia Dr. Baumia.
I'm fine, sir, semi free Tamale Kowal Wale. Na my speedy bebre na me fa normal acha 1.5 hours medru
na say ne mu yenu ano
be hon and to boga there 30 minutes ye ba hokra be je ni sa kofi
na say mu yenu ano ade na aye to bi ase oni ba nu am we punch we no we punch we ade mu nyina mu economics and accounting backgrounds nti ana
David. No kre wom ni se to de bia aya na me ne ba o me nkomodie no kokudro na me de. Okay. Fi se onua panyin de a wonya ni monyam sa no edin se wo beka asem a emfata. Na to bi wo nso wo ye din anyeyi. Fi se wo hwe ne ntete a wo fam ene enimdia wo ene adwuma a waye na to de bia o de toto enoma a waye no ho na otimu se dibra nti onso tra ho na yese opinion otra ma nkorawe nanka na yeka nankanwefo a ono na dikan nti se koduru bebi na ehwe se menua no nkomodie no ya dia bibia hyega na fo adwemu a enye nokra otra ho enye nti mene ne nkomo no dodo na no obi ni nua panyin nkomo na eduru bebi na se oyi suban bi edi na enya na yese odi akokuduro na otimi eka bibi fa ho na enye sa pa de akaba omi de mebu no pa. Okay.
Ene ye shada mfase da kese ma opa o asema wo kano emoze ba omi ade obu no pa em say eno be headline kra ma obi aka ba ye nhyase we japa ye nhyase ejapa di una ba ho asem kofo say family and friends ne ade me ame na ejapa fo ni bi aka samo say we ade be boa Ghana ma ye da ache it's gold mu royalties in besi ne ye nhye da nyan de ne ohawa NDC more with ejapa di no.
Okay, so dia se Ghana nkasa no ya si mu ache enso yentimi nkwa animu se na yese nka ekọ ende nka yemfa Ghana na nso ntoma obi se o hwe se adwumaku a omu etufango wa Ghana ha adwuma omu die ne sika ene etoa se omu de boa Ghana na ye di buman no on the average no yenya be almost 200 and over just 11 major mining companies per na yenya sika pudo be $250 million a year. Now o say sa 250 million obi abo akohoma 250 million say fedimpum to dwuma na o say untimi mfa won say si ade pote a o di 250 million na ye enti o di say japade no mmoho mfie dunum ekosi agongon a na wa na ni kwan say o tra akonya so efi say enye ajapa kwa 500 million ye ka ho asem yo unim say omokobo obosia $500 million ya ye ka ho asem wo sumase Ghana for antida
omokobo $500
million
and ajapa deal
no
eno say different
$500 million ti ana Ghana be ye kra be hwa
okay
enen ke ye kra be hwa nda ban we nka che
okay
if you say February who can say February no omokoye issue euro bond $3 billion e de ko hen
na tell no dey show up economy
ben
e bi no mo dey banking sector financial crisis almost mo na
mo say afi $3 billion afi atwem omukọ GB $3 billion sa ba e be di kenkene fish e wo ministry ho mo ye party kenke party e wo ministry ho eno kan ho
say o ma sika na me di fish but in celebration
me say omukọ GB ba sa sika no omubebo ho dewro e hoahoa ho $3 billion eno ankosi aga Omosa abobosi afi $3 billion ankosi aga Afia say twem 2018 $3 billion ni na $9 billion ankosi aga
$9 billion
yes ankosi aga ayi safi we ya ewo mu ya February omo fa sumasi ko raise $500 million omo fa ne term loan ama parliament mpo
ade na ama parliament
say sumasi ebesin de omo mo Ghana for amani o
but is it possible say ban betimi aye bibisa without parliamentary approval?
That is the problem.
One of finance committee so how is it possible sir ban betimi akwaje bosia finance committee
me say there is a term loan of $500 million omu issue through stand chart na asefo amma parliament omu ma sa loan na ngasara omu ma 10% discount bonds na omu issue no 10% omu issue bonds no on the 9th of February ade chance na omu issue €3 billion bond and so omu babo Ghana for amani omu kan $3 billion no to man ka $500 million na nka enti ebesi na yenim ade omde say sika na yo
na mo amote finance committee no so maye din na mo hwe o
na finance committee pese o ye ne just me court eno me gusu amene lawyers edi hu nkomo
okay
ye be court unim say ye TSC here Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund o man payin dada John Dramani Mahama ede ba ya eno ne edi bi kosi ye friend say terminal 3 no enne sika wo ho a ye ni Ghana for ye pe infrastructure ye nya bi no omo de akobo mining company for bosia
infrastructure fund no
yes omo de akobo cardinal resources mining company afi na aba Ghana how eba be si mining ewo northern upper east or Mandini no Oma tam ye sika na ye sinke de ba be ye infrastructure ye se enso aye nko bobosia nka ho no ye de enu mom akọ foreign company ni bosia so on fan ye mining company
na ombetua na so omutua so ombetua
so omubetua so omuntua ye se gift ni ye company ehihia ayaya Ghana aban enye sika kakra de betu foto no mu a na wakọ bobosia kakra de abeka ho na wo de ye japade ama Ghana fo
okay
eno na ye kobo obosia di bi kan ho a ye be ye japade a ye frɛ no ye frɛ ni terminal 3 ama Ghana fo no na do aban yi de sesi ano sa sika no no on fa nyam puntuduma ma ye o de kobo ko fo bosia
I will prove say
ono ne fo bosia mi wi me de be ma ho
okay
originally no sa mining company no
honorable bear trainer yenye o microphone yen sort out issue ma but ebusi aba mama ka say ugu so ahwe live o UTV critical issues and be sort honorable microphone ho asem because na issues na but e kan wasem pa allegation honorable making no say be for economists normal confirm ya say ye no kre say Ghana ye infrastructure fund na ye de koye terminal 3 no na ade no aban MPP aban e de akwa mining company bi e wa bonten bosia na de akwa bosia de ade nti na ama parliament ama yenya parliamentary approval ni nyina be kan wasem na woka about 9 billion that's can wasem afa 500 million no say a 10% discount no so ono be court e was issue ni pacho follow live e wo social media handles na UTV Ghana na for adwen chemra na ni nyina no yenka e ho asem ma wo evidence bi ni nyina ono bo adongo kan ye be ma wa yire ye be yire no wa ma evidence so that ye me no me nyina betime follow discussion to ono bo adongo yensanto a enkomo no so na wo infrastructure fund no musical say MPP for the
onipa na de infrastructure fund ne kan say essence say ye ni sika a ye betimi aye ye dwuma nyina ti say ye pese ye dualization from Accra to Cape Coast and Accra to Kumasi a e bia ye nya sika ni nyina nti no sa ban de kakra beto sa futuo no mu a ebe ma amononefo nkranhye na omu de bia beso ye so ne abobosia de akwa ye sa dwuma no a wa ye bi da ye hu se o ye bi wa opanyin ba ye sa sika no wodi akobo cardinal resources for bosia cardinal resources no ko bosia ni free amononi for company be a friend sport company ana ye momo afa kira akwa to sa debt no a free sport company as sia no sa kana edahoma cardinal resources no ye na yaje a sese ye na ye bo mo bosia me wa ye ti krobo a toilet eno na ye achievement speed ramps ena ye achievement okrom ha o nkura da titi nuase esua de nkura ye kase oboda ye double track ye kase next year MPP aban pese o de double track crako training colleges of education omo de double track colleges of education yeti he no omodi hu komo ne o na ya tam sika be $23 million e de akobo amononi company bosia ya ma parliament. It is a sago for catch yourself $500 million versus a chromo ha. Obo bosia $9.5 billion we need to acquisition. Anna Cecia Tiwa bosia be almost 135 billion Ghana cedis obaye acquisition. Na 500 million. 500 million. I say church him na 40 say Japan as a power. Yam fan say o papa e ko obewu no jawo Japade. Ojawo emfia bosomu bia no ana afi bia no oje renta oni wabusuafo no ede ye mpumtudwu ana moche ede hwem ho afi bia munya $250 million so what am I say eno ne royalties no na osi $250 million no ye de mawa enam ekwan ya ofa so di $250 million ni ntino untimi nya adekode port ya obetimi de onsesi so se sika ya eba afibia no sei na me de ye enti yemfa japade no sika na eba no yenka mom ne yemfa nkoma obi for 15 years nti $250 million times 15 amount almost $3 billion so what you say yenti company na sa $3 billion no afi 15 years ni na enkodi sa nipa no ho na sa nipa ne esusu say 53 billion no ebedi ne ho a ebeye japade ama ono no company no na ono momumma ye 500 million na je sika na ebeba afibia no ono ne chefa wom 49%. Wo asika ne ye wo dia no wo chefa wom 51%.
Nte wo na obenya majority.
Sika ne ye me dia dada.
But so no mbe invest sika no.
No, anya you see
omo to shares.
Eno na me kira won no say sa sika na omo de be ma me no shares no 500 million na ye de be ma Ghana no. Eno no shares no. So what you say? So a Japan no Japan dey. A Japan ye tie say ye paper. Why not the sika be ma paper? Or the sika dey my Japan because omo fa kwan bi so a omo beji Ghana 250 million afi dunum.
Okay.
And this say afi dunum na wo ba beji Japan 3 billion there. And then me 500 million na me be ye a shareholder of sa company na. Sa 3 billion na eba no. Media.
Okay.
Me ko invest 3 billion no na me nyamfa so a. Yamfa say profit bem na declare dividends a. Me ne wache. Me ne wache dividends no so no. Sika na wo de ba ye na de invest ne da media o. Na mum dividends ebeba mu no. Eno na ye che.
Okay.
Say do baby na me decide say me pe company ni biem na me ko say be kwa koton me dibra. Sika me nya no. Se eburu sika me di be share Ghana ni mu na no your friend capital gains.
Okay.
Mintua ho to. Enti saa eto na omo pese omo betua no enye 250 million no to o.
Okay.
Na mum infaso omo benya ye dividends.
Eno na omo pese omo betua to.
Infaso omo benya ye capital gains no. Eno na osanfo a ono wogege me ne wo to edibu man no. Se omo de omo ntua saa to no bi. Nti yemfa
so omo say yes be double taxation because
double taxation they say
omo tua taxes for Ghana.
Debbie. You see 250 million na dey brown. Enye profit. Enye income.
Okay.
Nti untimi ntua tax also.
No, omo say before aska ne bedru omo no. Na GRA ebedu omo new company no omo form.
Ewo hen. Baby omo akoshe no. One is small so omo fa no kwesumase. Ewo Ghana ha obi an.
Omo enye sponsor omo register no Jersey.
Na Jersey hen.
Jersey say abroad.
Tax haven.
Jersey a tax haven.
Enye US this Channel Islands. You see, enye Jersey totally Jersey. No, enye New Jersey. Jersey in Channel Islands. What do you call it? An independent state under the British government. But they operate a haven. Haven is I say baby
tax.
Untria ana osika sem kura no yentimi fifim. Eye subasi edwadie ekuro. As obi a wudi da wo mpese etise Luxembourg. Etise Cayman Islands, etise Barbados, etise Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay.
Ho no se obedi usika sem wo ho a.
Obi ahwem.
Opa fa lawyers e wo wiase nyina fa na nyina fa kosa kromo se wo ko fifim unyare. Esubasi edwadie ekuro ana ye de ne company no akwakwahye de na ye di suma yen. Na je se free asase no ya adwin se de besi wo company ne bia ye di suma Ghana fo.
But when e ban se na mo so ma approve deal no parliament.
Na won't say e work out.
No work out.
Na you work out. Na who stay na wo number ne endorse one. That's what they say, you have your say, they will have their way. We have put on record that this is bad for Ghana.
Okay.
Now, and only first, you see, Omoka said tax upon tax. I'm my example. Omanga say you do okromo. Unim say our Esla PLC.
Yeah.
Esla PLC any Japan. But when you am fan kosumasi ye to Ghana ya me ameye Ghana ni ba no and the right to information me person hu ne ekoso e wo Esla PLC ya. Mitimi man lawyer na me ansa to be tro e mo de mame o man pena me do ko court e so mo de mame e ke ko share jesia e ho ye suma se dwadie kro mitimi nkonya sa information so what you say
yeah
fine Esla PLC no eye ajapa Esla revenue na ye de ma Esla PLC no eye mineral royalties
okay
nti se de Esla flows no e ma Esla PLC anya bia ya omutua tax upon tax ana.
Okay.
Omutua tax ma why?
Okay.
You see, Ghana tax law no a source law. Taxes are assessed on income earned in Ghana or received in Ghana.
Yes.
The same in the UK. Taxes are assessed on what? Income earned in the UK or received in the UK. Entina. Se unwe bi wa monone
or send
no send you sika you are receiving the money in Ghana to betua to
obetua kakra
what you say nti one fa company ya anko UK ntimi unfa sika bia anko o me enkoje
okay
unso ye Ghana ana wo Ghana sika na odidi dwuma nti omo ne na mo ka say tax upon tax no
na so mo twin company wo Ghana hanoma sika ne beko mansa na the omako listing wo London Stock Exchange nti company na wo Ghana no on to taxes ma Ghana government
tio company na wo ha no share company wanye hwe sika no ko Jesse ni invest sika no
okay
Jesse ana profit ne ba ye declare dividends
okay
who declare dividends now and yet that company is not a Ghana company
yeah, but any of the shareholders won say omo ye Ghana for no mo receiving first one or how mo do taxes
one fa sika no obe receiving sika no wo Jesse on fa ma Ghana
okay
so what you say
okay
on fa ma Ghana nti omo ne nam ho ni na omo ko bie account e wo Jesse o
no ma akwa ye shareholders
na omo akwa ye ya akwa ko tua omo dividends na gumu ho Ghana for hu hwe capital gain onyamfa so no so a eno so ye tua no Jesse on fa ma Ghana it is when you receive in Ghana and obetua
okay now when receiving in Ghana
no anfa ma you see emre bi me kan say me Ghana for anfa o ma so amem me ka chon say nipa wo jitu mu se otua to a enye entimi ma me finance minister
na
efi so no ogije to no de buman no o kan say emre bi be pie mu say sa esuma se dwade nkuro yi bi ba ko kan oforiata company che ho
menkai
won kan
ne company ben
me say eba say
nti no am evidence the company ben
I can't remember the company but his company they mentioned a number of Ghanaian companies a leaky yes WikiLeaks say
Templeton there no
yeah Templeton
okay
one of the tax safe havens
okay na the company wo ho
e wo ho na me ka che Ghana for say emre bia wo de wo company be kwa kwhye sa suma say dwadie kro no na je so wo gitum say kwan bia wo be fa so a wo ntua to na eye
okay
nti say wo gitum say wo ntua to a eye you support tax avoidance schemes
okay
and so me momu no a me ye hiani no me suansuo na me nya kakra na me se me kwa akoto bibi akwa akodi a me ntua vat na won fa nkobu man okay me sa kan biem say so wo kuro a katasehye ne proye adokuro sa kuro te say kuro yi a CDD ankasa e kan say akufo ado ne na aban yi etbi wie ye sika be almost $2 billion a year 9 billion Ghana cedis a year na sa omampanyin no what presidential jet amano tieni o
ye ya to presidential jet amano
eso odi yedwuma nanso otukwa amfa presidential jet nko no akwa chata private jet
and how evidence of this allegation
unim say Ghana had na president at the private jet na tukwan
minim
into evidence Afia Pokua wupa
minim say na me president na tukwan
ene me ka kire wo
ne na ko trip bi da
say me ne kwanza
nti evidence ne say
or the private jet
flight ne number
oh Afia Pokua me be ma later open minimum farmer me kire wo say there be Afia Pokua we your common knowledge Ghana for be any say papa
you na common knowledge na me am a journalist of many years
then you haven't researched
there be into what also why
Anna me kire wo say
our evidence so why don't you give me the
evidence I'm not carrying papers here
but you know so make this allegation
so and say every word be am used to be some be additional and I'm kire
enye this
Anna me kire wo say who dey tie me if they want they should sue me in court okay you can disclaim and I'm comfortable with that
okay
na president no fast private jet no also occur year of return no the nam Jamaica
and you obi na dey private jet mbe fa no the cost of
Ghana and Ghana netua no
and then say bia yen presidential flight no I say okay
or the call Jamaica na the issue about we bet me am so many revenue gabi the buy ro kan no Jamaica o
okay
ofri ono osa the same private jet no call Barbados
okay
osa the same private jet no echo to Trinidad and Tobago esuma se dwadie kuro no no sa kuro mi bubo ye esuma se dwadie kuro ana the private jet echo ye wan fa wo de no ana ono no ne nkofo na ebusuafo yi de koye na sa kuro yi wodwen se obi wia $2 billion obi wia $2 billion ahin odi besie obetimi de sie okuro mu a A die ben nebekom.
But we also a criminal offense o mo we
Corruption. And CDD has proven that almost 9 billion Ghana cedis of our money goes into corruption under this government every year.
Omuka said this government.
Yes.
And Omuka said all governments.
They gave a period, and that period of 2017 to 2018, no, not one it is.
2017 to 2018.
One it is.
Now NDC, what is your corruption record?
Minya who's CDD report, they who are making say 2017 2018.
Yeah, but we can't take 2017 2018 in isolation.
I am talking in terms of a period that I'm aware. And I'm saying that in that period that I'm aware.
Why are you aware of only 2017 to 2018? How about 2013?
Because Samre na me president need the private jet any nam a suma si de kro no me yem shime. What am I say? Me yem shime okwo no ni ma de koy. Private jet na ono nko an e de koy. Minim
because your video say by the president in the cabinet and the coin.
Na why na yes ade na ye de kata o eyi. Eye hintasem. Nti me say me ye Ghana ni na me president ekwo charter private flight. No de nam esuma se gye kro mu a. Na ade chi na wo se afro ho na okwa akodi dwa me ye mehye me. Anya bia ye sika bi kodi ho ana. A yes aba be boy ebusia.
Ninya hypothetical questions.
Hypothetical questions.
Okay.
But it is a very critical question to investigate. So when your president travels in a private jet to tax safe havens, and the next moment he's registering a company in a tax safe haven, your heart must be beaten.
That's Okoyache. And is the president the one registering the company?
But who is registering it?
O say Mpenifo Edano.
Executive
Deputy Minister of Finance eka ho. There's a company.
Afia, executive authority rests with the president. Omuina are acting on a delegated authority of the president.
Okay.
So what am I say?
Okay.
Entino, that entina we ye bibia ama cabinet as a co-president or normal executive approval. Because all acting on his behalf. You delegate authority, you don't delegate responsibility. Enti ade bia ye wa ban we mu no eye nanado dankwa akufuado. So what am I say there? Good. And only me first worry as a Ghana for doing
okay.
Money laundering, unim say Ghana higher list, ya blacklist here. European Union.
Yes.
European Union are blacklist here.
Anya Ghana nko
O de Ghana na me meeting. Ana Ghana sika, ana me bob mu ban.
But say Ghana say money laundering law. Eh no so money laundering ye illegal Ghana. Adenti na NCP na that ho yes say ope baby a obi enye sikafin o de ba be she
o pese ofa kwan bi so no hohoro ho a Ghana na hohoro ho no sa kuro no sesi a epese okodi dwa ewo ehintabia a wontimi hu ne ekoso ho eno ye two. The third one is say $250 million na meka no eno mandini ya meka na sin ase afuna o ma ba give akwakọ bomb sien
yeah
omu gold royalties nka ho
okay
new
and no mo excluded
say enye operational
okay
but 15 years no be operational la benya size kana na enya size kana ina nso ye say ekọ ajapa ho e wa bra ya mfa nkan hyehye no ho a eyesa ajapa tua size kana e mai company ehodo a eba bebe kire yina no omusika
eka ho
royalties beba no ye betua majapa enso yesu su sika pudu a eba oyeso omode man no ya mfa nka ho
but honorable say your royalties no onya aware say ye nheda nya sika bia wom na from 2017 to 2016 2017 ye nheda nya mfaso bia mfi your royalties mu nti omo say this is a good way a ke royalty kakra na ebenya ye invest in ye a ebewo na ede amaye
ko wo he me say ye be more $500 million na ya ji 3 billion over 15 years enye wo dia enti e be de na abewo. You see the word managing our royalties no omu use no e deceptive. They are not managing our royalties.
Okay.
They are taking our royalties. Onoma $500 million now. What form company 100% e wo dia into would the muchefa 49% no ama $500 million. Now for royalties na eba say afina company no ye ba be wo no say ya wo no da say the lease expire no asa renew for another 30 years na ade ni na no sa royalties no ba ne ho esan 500 million na or the amount for the next 15 years no I wouldn't say
GOG okuta 51% o ebi mba Ghana government
ba be de se asas kan nya de biem ya ajapadia
yes but say Ghana government was shares o
nti ji so omo di sas kan ko didwa na mfaso basa na mfaso amaso Ghana your company
already na your royalties ye di didwa ma mfaso basa
baby ye di yempum tudwuma enya say ye mfa didwa ye di yempum tudwuma ye di royalties no
ye itu ayi gold by 100 years specific impuntuduma ben and abeka say ye instead say when you invest here this kind of specific project
so if you don't know because you say a consolidated fund ti won hu a aden na won bia account na enu sa sika no kodima am say 250 million ye di kosi school adan
okay I said in heritage fund no
ebisa
bibisa na de go
na kwakugum na ehun say okay baby because e ko franco for sika ni ti no ye de yempum tudwuma kra ye nim emu chefa
a free gold
how to cure that no enche say wo de kosi agongon e de ama obi free ube ring fence sa sika no na wa chere say every time be a royalties e baby no e ko sa account o ti say ne ye ma petroleum revenue management act
okay
so what you say na sika na kogum a de na wo de kwa akoye je say approve ko de wo de kwa akoye ansana na wo di wi a wa bebu nkunta yemfa nkoma obi for 15 years
aye shady
just 15 years no kra no yehu kwan a wo fa so a wo kire say 3 billion na eba no enne sikemu no 500 million
okay
so what am I saying
government document no de ba committee finance committee ne committee of the whole o man kire how they arrived at that value o man kire
no you see there is a valuation method ye twe echina sika e de ban na ehun ni sunsu aso so what you say enti 250 million ne enye the same as 250 million 15 years and enye 250 million echina ene echina chi enti yemfa ne say 250 million no ameje no for 15 years no metimi a kire say some invest say sika no at a certain interest rate a bedroom 15 years na sika na dore akodu baby your friend future value
okay yeah
and also say sa sika na amenya no se me yesa me tete interest na nke be ma sika na dore no afiri mu a na che se me gini nyina na sika no be esen and also your friend no present value we have what to call discounting se wo tete so ama na ba enne sika mu a your friend discounting enti sa 3 billion no omo tete so na be si sen e wo enne sikam
ansa na omo put a value to
enti enne sika no na wo si 49% no e ye say 500 million na 600 million enti se sika no wa ma ye hu interest rate country risk factors na ade a wo de ye na nko na wonimu a wo boy apo
okay
ye nyina ye ko school ni bi ana nya nko na sa nipa na o chere present value ni future value na o chere o wie na o wuye went me anchere obi abiem o chere o wie ye no woni wafafo na mote class nya won so nko na wo te ase wafafo so te ase ebi wo ye ne sai na ebi wo mo sai wenwu no so no ebi sa akoye ma won chere won ade so wo te dem chere na enti e ba ne sai na nko na wonimu ekwan a wo fa so a wonya 500 million na 750 million
okay
sika ne nya wo de ye nyina sika
okay
nti ye ne ejapade a ye ja amaye no me ne ye de kwa se me hu kwan a wo fa so a obe pie sam pempenso yi
ade no no abo adongo mo nto mo bo na company no kran sha se so mo ye adwuma na de bro ni be ka se mo the benefits of the doubt o mo ye adwuma na se bibi ma ye be afe efie mienu a na maka ho asem ade nya se mo rush se company no kwa start it we de no
Afia ye ti ho na obi abegina na okuratuo was hey ukasa me shutu o na me say Afia hwe ho ye na akoye obe shutu wo se so onye shuti ma ni shuti ne ho ne pempen so besie papa ya kire se oba bebu wawe ne se so oba be ka wo se won ka ho wie
asa okay
e wo bebi so odi sika ne kwa kwahye ne yesumase o eno ma ekoso wo sa kuro no ahinta Ghana fo a yentimi embiebie mu hu ne ekoso
I'm surprised mum say waka say Jersey ni wo one of the
Channel Islands. It's not New Jersey. New Jersey is not a tax safe haven.
Okay.
Channel Islands.
Okay.
It is a Cayman Island ne Barbados no mo ne nasefo no. Nti ho no me say opa fa lawyers e wo kuro wiase nyina akogina wo
obi antumi
odi tuosi obi so se sa company be se me hu ni sika sam so ayan kan kira wo oti ase emre bi atwa mu onim se frank interpreter ye di akire ko Luxembourg me ko bi odi opa me ko Luxembourg obi say ye ko busa se temperature a obedi ye 2 billion no osusu aso te sen obe fele nwoma ma enkasa
so mo anya information
ya and no their friend tax safe havens e ye suma se adwade kuro ye de normal hinta awiase nyina enti se wo ye Ghana ni na ye de wo japade e kwa akosie suma se a e se oyem show.
Okay, but honorable ye mbese ye fi japade no but uni problem with composition because Matthew say more about empenifo e dan no so safma for ne mane ade.
Oda mama musa question. Africa Legal Associates. Why dia? Nya Gabi dia.
Minimum dia.
Gabi dia.
Okay.
On tell me one client onya ya otimi nya fees 2 million. Ne bra bo mu ansa na abia.
Almost say me busa.
Obeka kire say omo de ma obi na UK company no wana kofa o.
Wana kofa UK company.
Ma me kire wade ba ko. Ejapade ye pema busuan wo. Ye pe japade ba busuan so je aseta.
Depending on the Japadia chrono.
Tie. Keno Foriata epeko ebusuakro na mu. Akufado epeko sa ebusuakro na mu. Gabi ochire da akopeko sa ebusuakro na mu. Na Keno Foriata kofa company ewo UK. Se ombembre ye sikasem na sika no mu oduro. Na Gabi eko ye sub friend say a subcontractor. Oje say yan susu no ofia ansan APA.
Oh there be ba ono
me busa question.
Yeah but ono be person me
say. E no for Ghana.
Ebusan busa say is ankoma mo. Any Betty Enchil and Co ni other firms. Omo nasin get fund dey ya mo de koye. Enye dey say mo ni other law firms e wa brochire enye collaboration say bia. Say law firm na wa ha no. Enye registered in UK a. Also pay another law firm here registered in UK na na kan bom.
Another law firm ni ba Ghana ho be hu Gabi nko say oye law firm.
Omo se Gabi ta ni ye adwuma Canada.
Ana me buza o say. Ansa na Akufo-Addo be ba no. Obetimi a kire one client a ye tua ni 2 million Ghana.
But are you saying say Gabi onye adwuma na?
Ye ti kromo na nkofo faili law school. Eba na omo classmate ebe pa won ho.
Obi a faili.
Yes, ama bi mu be pa won ho. A omo be ye lawyers akukudu omo nya sa adwuma ni bi da. Na me kira wo say Ghana ankasa no ye wo chief legal advisor to the state.
Ono ne AG.
Enti AG wo ho a. Ade na omanfa AG. Ade na wo pe legal advisor, the ultimate is the attorney general. Ade na osa fa nche kofa obi. Na wo wia obeka say asumesi ni asumesi aye adwuma da.
But how about obeka say AG so adwuma gu no so bebre.
And on resign na obetimi ayemre. Ana lawyers ni yasa. Mo na mo say law school ho masi kwan nkofo ntimi nko. Se mo ni lawyers wo attorney general department a bebre nam kromo mo pa adwuma. Mo fa mo mbebo we. Okay. Na se wo betra ho na ene ye de akoma we na wa charge 10 million Ghana. Na ene de akofa we.
Are you saying say honorable Adongo Gabi ne law firm kra na ye competitive application on wa win a more charges just because oni nanado ye.
Omonye competitive ni ehu. And yes, you win 50 million cry for man.
Okay.
So what is
who evidence say anya competitive?
The evidence before finance committee
okay
is that they claim it is the law firm in UK that handpicked a law firm here.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. You get the point. And the person is an insider of government.
Okay.
And it's a one na oti here better than the farmer.
Okay. Matuasi.
So ultimately,
Matuasi.
When you hear me say, say $3 billion na ye de kwa komo nkofo bi ni age 500 million. Na ye de company no ko esuma se dwadi krom a bibia besi wo ho no ehinta Ghana fo no enya de ese be pene ne ya pene china.
Okay.
Na eye no kran so se Akufo-Addo se ope Ghana yi a ombiem wa waye bi da with Esla PLC. Wante se obia ko demo. Wante se Ghana fo aboka. Ade na sesi asa sikei 15 years odi hinta e.
Okay. Ono we moving in banking sector financial crisis because we dey want me at say a bad deal. Nti ebusafo gusa o share live UTV and honorable Isaac Adongo ye NDC Mashebedweni or Boga Central and ene twetwe nkomo ye share all aspects of Ghana as a Japa deal no ne aka wan say say a chop na ye chop no say o mampani okufuado any first person omudi sika ne nyina akọ abusuanim allegedly many evidence there but no say at finance committee ni there abroche company no ese omo an fa agabi law firm no omo anye no competitive that's what he saying but robo yenko banking sector because mate say NDC aye ese mbetua ama enipa omusika akwakodim no first year mbeba no mbetua seska no but yenko den na banking sector financial crisis e buy because people have said mu NDC and mo share banking sector na egunase including Bank of Ghana raised a report from the betu just say some of the companies were not doing well. In fact, starting from DKM, God is Love, Justa Motors. Until then a buy in the first place. And suddenly I come option I must say, Mubetu Yesikano. Any baby I'm bringing scan free.
Okay. Says Kakrabia be a juma ne do baby. Na a crona nkasa Sikakrabia ni juma woman. A drew baby na no more yet than Kakra. Affected sa Sikakrabia. Ana Saudi Sika a share juma mu say wo de dwetre a share bank mu na wo de ye juma. Na drew baby na bobosia na nkofo ni ntimi ntua e de kwa ahokyerem.
Okay.
So what must
okay.
Enti say a normal practice say banks ye juma be 2 3 4 years e 5 years na. Wo ye bibi a friend asset quality review. And no say Bank of Ghana every year omo call bank in the premises ekoye review but we are be about 3 4 5 years now say wo gina nchen na wo pe obi o nim de no no so behwem say ne wo hu no eno ano no so ebehu ana until 2015 year for price Waterhouse Coopers say omo konkoye asset quality review e we banks ni omo ko ba no omo kire say na banks ni bi ehia say omo diska esa beba beka adwumakuo no se ne be ya omusika sem no begina won naso wo man ka se banks no yengu won omu ka se yemfa kwan a ombetimi di sika omudwetre ni bia ba beka ho se ne be ya omusika sem no ebegina won naso yesa sade a tama mo yes ahwehwemu no besi ne no emre kakra fam musa nko validate se ne mu hu ye no saa pepepe ne dete a omokoye validation ni bae no omo kan nsem beye nnan na kire omo kire say apart from say banks no ebinum ehia say omo de dwetren bi ba beka ho Bank of Ghana nkasa mra na odi ye adwuma no ehia say ye be hihye sa Bank of Ghana mranim na emu eye dru se ne be ya omotimi asisa adwumadie no ano daache ana mra na nkasa na yedi ebu banks na nkasa no sa mra na nkasa no ehia se yebema na hyemu kina
okay
legal reforms now the third one is say yema banks ni diskani bi kura be ka ho a amansan nyina ye nhyehyɛ foforo a emma requirement no akosoro a ye frɛ no the CAG you have to call the IFRS the International Financial Reporting Standard 9. No ama nhyehyɛ ye se sasika krabia no ehyehyɛ so diska ma obi a enkoba sika ne gene be den no akosoro enti say ye diska ne ma on wie omo diska ne ba wie ne ye Bank of Ghana law no ye reform law no ne reform Bank of Ghana Act ne wie na ya mpe kwan bi so amma Bank of Ghana introduce sa mra no se ne sa any bus 2 and 3 a omesa ko under them. So the third one we needed to do was what to call the internal capital adequacy assessment program.
Okay.
ICAP.
For the banks.
For the banks.
Okay.
ICAP. So you see, ebimuka say reforms and no minimum capital. No, reforms was bigger than that.
Okay.
So we
but Momo started our reforms.
Yes. So we passed the amendment to the Bank of Ghana Act in 2016.
Okay.
Act 912.
Okay.
Good. We passed a new banking law called the Banks and Special Deposit Taking Institution Act 2016, Act 930. So issues about administration any insolvency ni na sefo ni nyina no emrada da na anim
okay
na ese ehim kena ye na yes our reforms no ye wie ye no
isn't it because mo who say na banks na start collapse that dantina 2015 mo this amendment no echo parliament
no. You see banking regulation a continuous improvement process.
Yes. But what happened between 2015 and what this amendment to parliament?
We took Pricewaterhouse to do an asset quality review.
Okay.
And they made a number of recommendations for reforms.
Okay.
One was minimum capital.
Okay.
Two was legal reform in order to improve the legal framework for managing our financial institutions.
Okay.
And one of them, no, pass it. You amend the Bank of Ghana Act to give it more bite and more strength, and to ensure succession was depoliticized. The third one is Bank of Ghana Act, Banks and Special Deposit Institutions Act in Ankasano. You passed in 2002, no 612, no. Yen system. Na yemfa normal bebre nhihye Bema Bank of Ghana ni to me. If you say normally be na ekwaso chese Bank of Ghana Ankasa kra ni to me a obetimi correct it. O correct na nipa de ukokota obewini.
Okay.
Enti yem passes our laws no. Na en strengthen Bank of Ghana na Ankasa na hoodin a odi adwuma.
Okay, enti
minyanwe. Almost as can say kobase banks and financial institutions e fail o Ghana. Ebeya so de amaban. Enti say yen hyehyeye a se ekobase banks ni failure efutuo bi wo ho a yetimi edi bebetua sasika your friend deposit insurance. So we passed the Ghana Deposit Insurance Act in 2016.
Okay.
2016
ya na mo
2016.
Okay.
Just yes set aye be den
reforms.
Yeah, they be reforms now.
We had finished reforms.
No, we had finished the legal reforms. We had finished. Now it was implementation. And you see, the Bank of Ghana, the Banks and Special Deposit Institutions Act, provides for what we call transitional arrangements. And the transitional arrangements, they say, banks must begin to comply with the new law 6 months after it has come into force.
Okay.
And the act was signed, I think, around October 2016. So between that period now, we couldn't even implement the law until the transition period had passed. Transition period passed when we were not in power.
Okay.
Obiba ye wanti adwenya ye de yes ade yase. Tieni yo.
I said they were in parliament. Then I just want to say, parliament am pass all these laws. Send MP before ho.
Na papa ya oti Bank of Ghana no parliament ho.
There be na say MPs in baby they were there.
But they were not the ones. They were not the ones managing the process. It is Bank of Ghana that was managing the in conjunction with the executive. As if he is in parliament, he doesn't implement the law.
Okay.
He passes the law, but implementation is the duty of the executive.
Okay.
So what you say? Obai, o say which is consistent with what we said.
Exactly.
Except that yenia can say ehia se bank bia edit to sika kakraka baba obu o ma ono de edwe o ma ono mu di dwa no
nketenkete
onya 230 million kra e beso no nti yemfa to 230 obi a benya bi na afi yenya bi wi a na mo amoya kese a mo bobosia bebre mo age nkofo deposit bebre no ya use ICAP. Yeah, the internal capital assessment of your bank near determine the true level of capitalization that will meet your risk.
MPP
MPP buy almost over 400 million, bra.
But that was because based on the assessment.
They hadn't that assess. Nobody has done an ICAP. Let me tell you, sir. Last year, after IMF left, that they went and brought IMF to train them on ICAP. 2019, na banks
okay.
2019, ya banks ne na ye ne ICAP na ye be ye na omu to twene baby na omu ko fa 400 million
edi to obi aso
ye obi aso na ye di to obi aso a o pesika no unim se omu a aya omu boa pa ma banks etimi raise sika e fund management companies so what you say
yes
good na papa ya ono so to seki ogba mi tete enso atro letter ma fund management companies na omba boa nkofo ya momonya sika na ba ne say obia sika bia ukoji ye wo hobia na ye ma bosomi ensia ko fasika nbra
I said we a proper fund manager. Was he a case? What you be sika na da wa? Confess can buy. Was so to me this can buy.
This can fund to.
Yeah, the investment.
Exactly.
But say also you must prove it.
Ah.
Say me the investment.
One can say account for the monies. Or say confess can bra. Inti sika no made ma open despite no di be UTV. Na me na agree say 10 years time.
And
no be tria me car me confess can why na ba.
Are you sure so chọ come sec for say sika no wo capital investment wo UTV
or better say the letter says they should bring their money, so they were now counter claims on each other. So we sorry I know atro me redeem me sika Bank of Ghana say me fam sika mra. Until the first 2-3 months kakra na wo system no obi atumi tuatua afa edu baby no sika na aka no a block won kofo adwuma mu ko fa ne.
But were they proper investment though? Because Bank of Ghana report na kasa say
me say sec.
But the report we may report am reading Bank of Ghana report no. I can say most of the microfinancing banks no omo dis kan koye investment na e shady.
You see,
and you related.
Mama come draw about mase. Eh, ne obeka ma broni abontin ko de anya den. Wagu nkofo adwuma wie na ne obeka ama Ghana fo enya rehwemu se wa anya na trimodin no. Enye den. Na mom no kra wom no e na ye no kra aye de adwuma. Now, Bank of Ghana na wo se nkofo nkofa dwetrimra no. Every 2 months obenya cameras o wanimu bia. Usi em say nkofo we na mbenya na we mu aka ndem nye so menye sika no nti wo na osika da ho be ende
ene so be panic
o kan say krom ha no fo obi asoro anopa no akosa lie so kan eno so reforms ana no obi ayi ni sika say Bank of Ghana say nkofo bi nya uyi ogu baku wi no aka say we kura ni nkuma no no ebi di ekire. I remember one of the revocation he mentioned that after that 281 financial institutions wamo oni o nti wo na osikada sikakrabo ya onim say ye no ananye.
But honorable Adongo, what would you have, what is the alternative? Seka NDC
me person Ghana 40 ase me person
and kamu wini ya and what would have been the situation? Kamu ngu banks na
we've spent we are almost heading towards 22 billion Ghana cedis. Tio in the process you cause panic withdrawals na banks na nkasa air phone e wa bra anya omo fault
okay
sa panic withdrawal no kema into the 400 ni eba no deposit ababa yi 1 billion into the 400 million ne ba na a whole of 600 million at the bank ni just wa ye kwhwe kodada eno na eti hu no sa sika no e ya ade anka ye ya adwen say pese save banks na and cost even more than 9 billion.
And cost more than
9 billion to save the bank.
Instead of the 22 billion.
Exactly. In the case of
household.
In the case of UT Bank, the whole in UT Bank was about 800 million. Investor by say 800 million now. Or the 400 million beshem. Nemo memre also one penny. Ugu no ye 2.2 billion on the capital bank. Tieni yo. When 800 when ya a reshemu say the 400 million no ma na mo de when ba chire na bank ni gina na so abeboa yen na mom gunu dia obenya 2.2 billion akwakosie bank no
akotua naka
asa okosie no wonwi make sense wawu anambwa eyi Royal Bank edoka Bank of Ghana liquidity support 250 million. ECP advisors say that look, you bet me the 400 million ababa boa. Name my reshemu say the 400 million ne ba. Only 250 million na animanimu ya. Name my yemre. No mu da yejuma etuaka wo so wo mpene ugu nu kotua 800 million edisie no.
But honorable on kai say abind the support Emma Banksy. Abind the sika shemu. Omo time and omo ntumi anye. Ansa na ogu no.
Sika be no dey go
or the banking sector will support. Ansa na ogu no. Bank of Ghana report. Yes.
MPP abaso.
Yes.
Bank be.
Oh, all these bank, capital bank.
Omo ni man collapse. Omo nim bank ya man sika.
Omo support. Isn't it true say buying time sika de mom say omonye enfo ntwam ho na bebre entumi anye.
Ya ban ben.
You MPP are buying na make.
No.
UT bank, capital bank, omo nyina wa mo.
No, listen. Let me tell you. One of the people in court today
is Unibank.
No. is a former Bank of Ghana official, Dr. Johnson Esiama, for giving life support to UT Bank under John Mahama. Because at that time, UT Bank was in negotiation with a foreign buyer.
Okay.
So we needed to keep it alive for the foreign buyer to buy it.
Okay.
And he's in court for it.
Well, a due diligence, and I said, it's in court for what?
Yes,
financial loss
it was wrong to have given financial liquidity support to them. So if
their books are terrible.
Which books
maybe I know more UT Bank or more books. We show more contact because honorable figures. Some of the documents are missing under this banking sector. Maybe one more BABA accounts. I won't go for them.
You see?
Oh, the honorable hang on. BABA accounts won't go for them. The people don't even exist. Ghost people. In order to legitimize, oh yes, you can. Yeah, they are bobbing. As one from Mobision. Okay, according to Bank of Ghana report, no one misappropriating Sikano.
Yeah, Mamusa question.
I feel no more baby. I'm on matches and Pesicani need near there into a good one. To honorable don't go account and near be account me and in your name. Also, so as account me and send Sikani, so I didn't a good yana a friend for you say, I'm an Sabra. Yes, so you 1 billion. What's our budget? 1 billion, 1 billion, and 3 billion. I'll say, minimum 1 billion per and I'm budget.
Okay, and
this captured in Bank of Ghana report.
Ejumumu haye muwe. Obi wiade wo UT Bank amugu UT UTV amugu UTV.
You know, but if the person is at the top,
he's
chief executive or MD.
He's not the bank.
You're separately personality. He's not the bank.
That is the point. So if you realize that people were stealing, me a bank, you know.
But honorable, one kind Bank of Ghana report or corporate governance and yet Juma most of the bank.
It is not the same. It is not the same as collapsing a bank. It is not the basis. Say, me a bank no. Me a uba. Ona wa woman e se hwem so na wo hwem so wi a me ekumi. Wo di nipa be wiase, wo na wo de bank na ba wiase. E na ye wo dia. Ana mra ne se wo di bank ni ba wiase no. Bank no e ye nipa foforo afri wo no.
Okay.
Enti se wo ba be wia me sika. Now what to me? I would just kind of mammy and answer Ukumi.
Okay.
So what I say? So I don't have a problem.
Don't throw the baby away with the dirty water.
You can't kill a bank because the bank was defrauded. Because the bank is the victim.
Yeah, but was the bank the way defrauded Obina?
It doesn't matter. I'm not saying that if somebody defraud the bank, don't hold him responsible.
Okay.
But don't kill the victim.
Okay.
Because you are supposed to collect those defrauded monies and give it back to me.
But nothing I busa say. Onya aware say aban in order to help sa banks say mo mungu emonkofo musika wo so enhye no or the sika kakra boa wo. But here you are also criticizing about the 22 billion. Amasa banks in wrong.
Well, farm bank no di gu won. You see, all the Maoma
bank.
Or the Maoma Komotiasi. Omotiasi. Royal Bank, what in Sunsun?
That's technically not banks that good at that.
No. I am telling you that is the point. You see, some of them, let me tell you, a bank like there was this bank, one of the new banks, Omuguno.
A housing.
And your housing, there was another one, new one. Omankasa Kran license.
Okay.
Miko Obi office.
Heritage Bank, and
Heritage Bank.
Okay.
Heritage Bank there, it was one of the most solid.
Royal, there's no work under that.
Yes. There was this bank, I forgot they used to have a headquarters around Osu.
Okay.
Miko Obi office, a fund manager's office. Now, a marketing executive about Panacho say. Or Panacho more 100,000 pounds for more na banking hall and Nyagro. Panic withdrawal no. Nkofo aba be good banking hall home say o ma nya 100,000 animu ya ankwa consult o mo out a.
Ntokwa kra besi.
Be besi nye. Omo ko gina bank ho papa yem hye o mo no. Omo nya problem o. Ni o tin office na o twe ne drawer na o yi ne checkbook. Na o chro 100 million. So o ye free o bank wa to another bank. A bat look for clearing. Na who check na we yem aso. Omo no kra na ye more. The silent majority who have high net worth and can issue one check to take 300 million from your bank account.
Not just our bank, no.
Okay. So I say, Wama obi poison. Now, what shall say onya cancer? Now, Kuni say onya cancer until no kunu. Meanwhile, cancer never answer onya cancer.
Okay. But on
man poison kobenya cancer.
On better answer question we mo be free abamu no. Na banking sector, ne health, o hwe na pomuden ana hoden. Na ya na nye.
To date, the levels of the indicators in the banking sector in 2016 over the last 4 years have never been met.
Have never been met.
Yes.
Oh, Bank of Ghana report now.
The only part it has improved are non-performing loans, and I'll explain to you why.
Okay.
As a result of implementing the
reforms,
implementing the IFRS 9, which is a compulsory international requirement. The risk management framework would determine performing, non-performing assets.
Okay.
So the provisional na say we first say o assess it na say o foresee risk you provide for the risk. Now if o the loan mo be now foresee risk o writing in off in there.
Okay.
So what you say? No, o the man we are o writing off. And nothing na one farm.
Okay.
But no. You better ya confirm so first payment went to me. You say hey akoye say who you na want me to and Sunday I shall say a provision. But now, no, if you anticipate a risk, you write it off. So you can't even have non-performing loans at a certain level sitting on your books.
Okay.
So you notice that they are writing them off against their profit and their capital. That is why non-performing loans is going down, capital adequacy is declining.
Okay. But still back to the question, Honorable. Kamu be reforms so say kamu we need 2016. How would you have managed this with 9 billion instead of instead of 22 years?
I have told you our roadmap. Our roadmap first, recapitalization. Legal reforms. We have completed legal reforms.
Recapitalization. We answer na move free.
May say yes. We started recapitalization of 230.
Okay.
And you more 3 years. And I share your track record. You discriminate always between foreign and domestic banks.
Okay.
In recapitalization. And to in fact the same measure and compare, because you see Ghana and Kasano, your local banking sector na Ghanaians and Kasa be mu and chair into omu nya hoden te say amonone for nti ye ma nsusuye da omu mienu ntem.
Okay.
And a match say a minimum capital of 230 ni we no be anya ya, which wouldn't have led to panic withdrawals. So the next strategy was to implement ICAP, the Internal Capital Adequacy Assessment Program. And no, me fa GCB o loan portfolio te saying, for deposit about how you saying, o risk I wo books no me saying, saying na me dream say what the bar, e bema o bank no ejina ne na so. Inti asuma si ebia be wi ache no here 1 billion. Asuma si po de naka 230 million no kra na do so do ba no. So what you say? But these people had no clue what the reforms were about.
Okay.
And they just came and they stood on one leg. That one leg was minimum capital.
Capital required, okay.
And so, consistently announcing the status of the minimum capital position of the banks.
And no ma panic.
Which created the panic.
What is your solution, Honorable? See, I'm also mobile. Mobile to ya sikano first year. The post is although na 90%, almost 95%. And the Bank of Ghana governor Nankasa say they have the data. And yes, we move with 95% of Nipa or Mudi or Mokano or Motia. Until the end, I move to ya.
Afia. One, per se, who cancer Bank of Ghana report? I want to tell you something. Banks are in the business of lending. Are they in the business of investment?
Bank so lending investment to Anna.
No, but there's lending and the investment securities.
Yes, so, but they can do both.
So, yeah, they can do both. But when banks have liquidity and the economy is buoyant and businesses are doing well, the greater part of the portfolio of banks is sitting on their loan books. When the economy is in trouble, businesses are not doing well, credit conditions tighten. In other words, banks stop.
It's a risk cost.
Question investment. Bank of Ghana now report necessity a greater part of banks in Sikano investment. So investment bebre na ya Bank of Ghana ngasa no this kana come on.
Okay.
Bank of Ghana as we speak is holding over 8 billion of investment from the financial sector.
Oh, okay.
8 billion. Now there's a Bank of Ghana crab more attractive for the bank to lend
invest,
than to you and I.
Okay.
Is that how efficient, strong banks operate?
But Bank of Ghana report Nankasa say financial sector now is strong.
Oh, and I'm giving you the indicators that are showing that he is not saying
lying.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like they are lying. He is misleading you.
Okay.
You get the point. He's misleading you. No, the other one is that the first person who made that comment, and I did it under the instructions of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, was me.
Okay.
When I addressed the town hall meeting of Dr. Mahmoud Baumia in Kumasi at the Kama Conference Center,
okay,
I indicated categorically that that morning I had a conversation with His Excellency John Dramani, and he had instructed me to tell the people of Ghana that when he assumes office in 2021, within 1 year of his office, he will pay every depositor in full.
Okay.
You see, one, the easiest way to do is, why do you issue bonds to pay for deposit that are cash? And they call themselves competent. Would you be cash? Usi nipa na sika no won ho no yan konkwaje sika onso ko no anfa sika nka ho amano wo di paper na ma no nti obi aba
for a paper no for future payment.
Yes, so bank of phone hiom sika deposit
and almost much 95%.
Oh,
nti aka 5% and no dey ato bonds
95% ni papers na ye dey am financial
Bank of Ghana na Eric na nipa receive and say 95% is cash, 5% are bonds.
You see, I am in Parliament, and let me explain to you what they brought to us.
Okay.
They originally spent 12.6 billion in bonds.
Okay.
To resolve the banks.
Okay.
In bonds, not cash.
Okay.
Then they came back to us, asking us to approve that 12.6 billion bonds because they hadn't come to us when they were doing that. So they wanted us to rectify.
Okay.
In rectifying this transaction, they requested for an additional 5 billion Ghana cedis made up of two financing structures.
Okay.
One, 4 billion bonds, 1 billion cash.
Oh, sir.
Take
1 billion cash.
Yes.
This is the report on the bar committee. No?
Me say request on the bar, approve here. 4 billion bonds and 1 billion cash. The 4 billion bonds, no. Now 1 billion of that cost SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission. SEC 1 billion, no, 500 million was to pay for depositors' money, and 500 million was to recapitalize banks on SEC companies on
Okay.
Sascanin coil. I've been seen the Sascanin coil SEC.
500 million in coil.
1 billion in Uncle SEC. Now,
are you sure say nko sec?
Enu achiri no na afi omanpeyin hu say nkofo ade no mo ayehye no. Ana o say 5 billion ni na yemfa nko CBG.
Okay.
Into CBG eje 5 billion ni na I be 4 billion and then bond and 1 billion cash. Into ehin no mutua cash no.
So mutua ni CBG go.
Ana me kira wo say paper na e de ma mo na cash.
Okay, so the 95% no say cash is wrong.
And you say you're wrong, it doesn't exist.
Okay.
And I'm saying, sir, the records on the face of records are there, what they buy, approve here, edumedia would here, announced from CBG, no, was that 4 billion bond, no, zero coupon, cash, zero coupon, cash, zero coupon,
Debbie,
or 0 coupon bonds for 4 billion for 5 years. And I'm Musa say, even in the unlikely event that Akufo-Addo become president in 2021, 5 years. Is 2025.
He will not be there.
It means he's not willing to pay. So what he has here?
Okay.
He is not willing.
That is binding on the state.
The Akufo-Addo no obetia o.
But aban bi o hobia so tia.
Enya nka ye din ya aban no aba be na de. Who the paper man ko for ne say onu a won tia interest. Inflation enri on sika ne be worthless. Na obi metua no 5 years time. Na wo wa breso pa de unye wadin se obetua system tie ni yo na afa wo gina so otua 95 na otua 95 na John Mahama so baba betua na hwi ni wa Mahama betua eno so house
okay
ene sanka wo fa hundwane because sa yi na o kan kra no
ba wo so mpeso mo chese mu di intro but na wo so che
ma explain it to you say the financing arrangement mo de ba ya approve ye no in their own SEC companies, you see. Now, say I'm from, so they are going to give them some money. Kobe 2 months no catch church or letters. Say omo force one say. Omo konko bie account e GCB. Nti me am me company am ne bank bie di dwuma be almost 20-30 years.
By force why?
Omo ni me track record am ho kire me yetimi me overdraft no. Me enjoy sa relationship ni na me ko start new one. Tie ni o.
But asepa.
Na efa so be na also. Ebesi na yetimi fama ho.
I will say on Obunka was a committee document that just almost just
I am saying
5 billion.
These things you can always check. We approve it in Parliament. They came for a ratification of 12.6 billion and a further 5 billion, making it 17.6 billion. Out of that 17.6 billion, the 16.36 billion is bonds. Only 1 billion and a year cash. Nana ni pension na osi usika nkofo sika bekemu a loan book a wo didi echirese a wo je no kwa ntimi nje ndu 1 billion. But you see, that is where I have a problem. Tama omoji banks no licenses. Some of the banks had some of the best clients on their books.
Okay.
And in any serious reform no say obi wo a debt portfolio now collapse na. Offer other banks and say open Onim sa company is a very good company. Sa company no already no kra no. Wa servicing the debt na won ni problem. Na mum problem na ne say o bank no problem a yeje license no. Nti ka be ya beje sa loan portfolio yi. Na won ni ndi kita ho na tries kan ma ye. That is what we do. And that would have saved this state over 5 billion Ghana cedis of portfolios that were performing. Two people say, "Omo loans were na non performing."
Okay.
Nti ba nse na mo gi ni na de koma na nipa.
Okay.
Na nipa di echa afa ni na na performing na no aba ba ye non performing na 1 billion kro ntimi nye.
Okay.
Say aban na etua nti no na aban sika ya otua su na akoye pepe.
Nti it honorable back to the na president mama kasa oba first year obetua sika no or the scanning for him.
So the first one they say bond. We'll turn it into cash.
Into business can we now there cash.
Bond there.
It's on the future payment.
It is sitting on.
It
is sitting on our public debt too. Bond already sitting on our public debt.
So how can you convert it into cash?
So we'll monetize it.
Then we'll monetize.
We'll restructure it and sell it.
Sell it to who?
You see, the reason why they are not able to monetize it is because one, the bonds are corporate bonds. Two, they are not listed on the stock exchange.
Okay.
It is a obukuswa. Ultimate fan komobia. Just a private arrangement. And no crown, just a bank in government of Ghana agrees. So this kind of why any didn't can't say approve.
Okay.
Okay. So we will make sure that those bonds are marketable and can be converted into cash in order to provide liquidity.
Okay.
That's the first part. Because you see, the reason why the investment assets are high is because this 21 billion is sitting on the bank's books as investment securities. Okay. It must be released to provide liquidity for the banks.
But it doesn't look attractive to release it. Better than liquidity, no.
Oh, paper na fe better cash out there.
My concern is how I convert paper into cash. No.
You restructure the transaction, and I'm saying, one is a corporate bond, two is not listed on the stock exchange. It's a private transaction. Okay. Three, if you put 0 coupon on a bond, the bond must be sold at a discount.
Okay.
Because it will lose value in 5 years. So what you say?
Yes.
So if you are going to sell at a discount, means you won't get the face value. So when you're scanning now, all the back because 0 coupon.
Okay.
If you discount 0 coupon for 5 years using any interest rate, you are going to realize that you must now sell it below the value that they have given you. In this 5 billion, the amount say a bond, now 0 coupon now, a paper down to almost about 3 to 4 billion.
Okay.
So you don't want to lose 1.5 billion. So if government can manage the people when they are making noise, I'll keep it until it matures.
Okay.
And the people will be suffering. So what you say? So the debt is already sitting on our books. The worst case scenario is that we will take a hit on the interest payment on government accounts.
Definitely government best of so
but that is within the first year. That is not 21 billion. That is interest. And the interest already, some components already have interest. But because they are not marketable, so we have to make them marketable in order to release the
but is it possible so bonds where I come out of banking crisis a bit more marketable? Can this be marketable?
Mamin cho hinta sembia metin enra unim say NIB omka say gat ebesi ne omunya gat skabia Ken Oforiatta a bond of 800 million Ghana cedis and they akoma NIB say omunfa sa 800 million bond no enkonkoton no omunji 800 million embeye other, I don't know whether they are going to give it to them as a debt or as equity. But the bottom line is that bond, our demand, will yield 800 million in the next few days. That is monetization. It is almost 800 million now call NIB and cano loan.
Okay.
That is monetization and that is marketability. Why they did that to this, and you see, my challenge is that this is the second time I can issue bond NIB. The first one was 500 million, and they took away a major asset on the books of NIB. I had Nestle share 24% shares in Nestle. Like, you can't say, NIB and Tom shares no more for more brand, no more recapitalize on 1 penny.
1 penny.
On more debt, edgy Nestle shares no. As you see, almost service interest on it. Sikano omedi ndisuzi omedi omeda na mabeje Nestle shares into one here na Nestle shares nsu ko obi fie o.
Okay,
now almost ama 800 million, the same strategy. Nestle shares no omoma ye no 7.3 billion of that money went into transaction advisory to Exero advisors went and sold the bonds
to them
for them. Yeah, my bonds 500 million. And they have my advisors or no bonds. A bank doesn't know how to sell bonds. That bank has a subsidiary called the National Trust Holding Company. Their subsidiary cannot help them sell their bond. You must send an advisor for him to go and just sell the bond and take 7.3 million Ghana cedis of the money. Tell you, once I come on another 800 million, so about 50 million is on the horizon.
Yeah.
About 50 million Ghana cedis is on the horizon. Mami Musa say, who recapitalize a bank now the equity kwa? Bank in say or boka now equity now what the abano okonyeskano.
I don't think that is the case. That should be even the case.
Exactly, but I'm telling you 50 million, and if they do that, what it means is that the equity that they have sent is not 800 million. Because a company does not pay expenditure in order to realize your equity in the company. But Ken Oforiatta, the magician, financial engineer, baby a bonds wa transaction advisories be kwa chiabano and no pay. Into every bia bonds. Recapitalization cry bond. Oh, bond no the econo na transaction advisors we then no DSA no akotwe 7.2 aba. So we are 800 million ekwe. Or kwatwe by 14 to 15 million about. Na yet Ghana ha. Near the meanwhile the two transactions amount to about 1.3 billion. What can I say when this banking sector crisis came? I wrote an article saying that all that this financial institution need, NIB, was to be allowed to sell
bonds.
Bond. Now contractors are government do on cut to the tune of 800 million. You force bank and say you're writing it off against their books. Government will pay that 800 million to amount to 1.3 billion, and they would have capitalized. Now you have sent 800 million plus 500 million, mirroring the figure that I quoted 1.3 billion, and yet NIB is not capitalized.
Wow.
Are you getting my point?
I
mean, how can we do this to ourselves?
And you think there's a deliberate
There is a deliberate ploy to buy that bank. And they must weaken it in order to take it for free. You get it? Look, Mam Pamusanko Fowe. Another 2, 3, 4 years of this government, Ghana will be an empty country.
Okay. But a Bank of Ghana, I don't know, it's a Bank of Ghana bet made in trust because the banking sector is healthy.
Let me show you something. Bank of Ghana open tropa. I have a dossier on them.
Bank of Ghana.
And me fancy on me busa on everybia.
That Adamo in a Bank of Ghana for
the makers at this year or two. Unim say me throw letter command.
Addison, yeah.
Yes, 5th January 2019 me throw letter command. Eka chen say or massage Ghana's international reserves He didn't respond. A couple of months later, IMF comes out to dispute our international reserves. You recall? Let me now show you.
IMF report no ha.
Oh, you haven't heard that IMF is disputing our international reserves?
Me evidence or everything more.
But I can't carry everything in my head in papers. Because you see, me I trust in fact check. You can fast check me.
I will fast check.
That's why when I say something and I leave with peace. You can fast check me. That's what I want.
Okay.
That IMF and Ghana were in dispute over our international reserves. The other challenge is that Mame refer you to another document. Pick the last economic and financial data of the Bank of Ghana for the last Monetary Policy Committee meeting in July.
Okay.
Check Ghana's public debt, the domestic public debt. You will notice that he reports 101 billion as our domestic public debt.
101 billion?
Yes, as our domestic public debt. And then he says that owing to, in other words, that 1.1 billion, the amount of banking sector cleanup cost and what 101 billion, 6.8 billion. No, it's about 1.8 billion Ghana cedis. Also 1.8 billion Ghana cedis is the banking sector debt sitting on our domestic debt. Many would think a banking sector debt near 1.8 billion.
1.8?
1.8 billion. How much did I quote for you? 17 point what?
Yes.
6 billion.
For the banking sector,
17.6 billion I'm quoting. Me say, I'm the 12.6 by for ratification.
Yes.
And almost 5 billion. And about 17.6 billion.
Yes, yes.
And it is all catch me say, in your domestic public debt of 101 billion, only 1.8 billion and what's our debt anymore? Not 15.8 billion. Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Addison, no kukus data no Ghana for. He shaved off 15.8 billion from our domestic public debt in 1 month.
I need to see that document, Asana.
Macroeconomic and financial data, summary macroeconomic and financial data for July. Go and pick it.
Okay. Okay.
Terio.
Okay.
Inti Addison data there. Me matron home bre. I take it with a P. Unim say maybe about finance committee. Now Ghana's capital adequacy ratio was declining. It declined now to about 15.6 from a high of about 19. By the time of it declined to 15. Our reporting in its macroeconomic and financial data. The following 3 months of over parliament, no assistant no could do better 21. And say, what is the lifespan? What is the lifespan of your data? For how long can we rely on your data? Because you just published this report. You have finished the first quarter. I mean, the first half of the year. We are working with that data. Financial analysts are working with that data. You come 6 months later and you go back and change everything. Just to paint a picture that doesn't exist.
I don't know if he's doing that, but I am called public debt. I am called air cannon. Because meaning say na no mo hear press conference and it mo ka say MPP for buy o ma boka na wasan ka bonds ni ade o ma boka pepe bebre.
They say eja o pepe ni kan.
Mo eja o pepe.
Because me can say public debt to pepe a wo program no be end na me dey kan.
Just say bebre.
Yeah, timi mo so.
But we share figures no and manya me say na me hear some research with some of the economists ni ade. Ah mo ka so far we hear e ka no a enka oma ya ade because debt ni bebre o mu tua mo ka mo boy NMPP for e tua mamo MPP for ba o mo sheda mo ka bia ye kese but e ka o mu tua ni mo NDC mo ka am ko tua for instance energy crisis ho ka any other things eno ho ka na MPP for tua besi ene cause o mo sheda mo major e ka bia o mu tua e ho ka. So person responding on the debt issue, mama.
Afia, me suma yankora o musua de aya o mutie yo. O de meka me de oka wa ya fansa makobo bosia bo ama Ghana 2 million. Anamwa. Na oba na okobo bosia de betua 2 million na Ghana ka kosoro. Ghana ka kosoro. Nye 2 million na gina.
So what the ka 2 million?
2 million. Oba ye na obeto eka 120 billion. John Mahama ejai. Na uko bobo sinya betua 120 billion na. Se nipa ye de ne kana na asesa. Na eka no da gina 120 billion.
Dem se besesa.
Debi.
The who Bobosia their services are debt.
Oh, Bobosia their kotua 10 size can manage. Wona ye do ka 120 billion. And yakwa jisika free cameraman ho 120 billion aba betua oka. Ye da de ka 120 billion na mom ye wona ye de oka na nipa ye de ka na asesa cameraman na say ye de ka 120 billion.
How so? Because who interest wo and your principal nipa na wutia.
Interest, we don't accumulate interest in our public debt because we pay it off through the budget. Interest payments are paid off through the budget. So if you say that interest you paid is what is making your debt go up, then it simply means that you are not paying the interest with generated funds. You are actually borrowing to pay interest, in which case you are compounding.
But is that not the case?
That is because they tell you always.
We borrow to pay interest.
No, they always tell you that we have a negative primary balance, a positive primary balance. You know what primary balance does? When you are borrowing to pay your interest cost, your primary balance is negative. Because the primary balance determines the rate at which will service your public debt, your interest with debt. And it is a measure of the rate of compounding of a public debt. So if you catch them and say, oh, public debt, your primary balance, you're positive. Interest cost which means you other expenses, but your interest cost. Borrowed money and interest.
So you see, what is the debt stock?
No, I want people to understand something so that we don't allow we no just say, oh say, yeah, if
more time in say no Bobo say the coach service debt. Mo Bobo say the coach ya e
You see, there's a difference between being honest and saying that your primary balance is negative.
Okay.
And telling people say your primary balance is positive. And primary balance is a measure of how much of your interest payment has been financed from public debt.
Okay.
So if you are actually not borrowing to finance your public debt, you should be having what? Positive primary balance. So once they keep telling you that primary balance is positive, then they turn around to tell you, say they borrow to pay interest. That's our primary balance, you know, about mere primary balance.
Well, for doctor figures.
You know, they probably don't even understand the relationship and the correlation among the numbers.
Are you sure?
Because so you can't have a positive primary balance and say that you are servicing your public debt with borrowed money. It's not possible. How do you measure your public debt?
First of all, I don't even know. Say, the person can positive private.
They have been saying it every day until now. Until now, COVID came, they went for IMF, they now started saying something else. So the issue is that. Until you come back to a cana, according to Momo record, what is a cana? Because what the figures I have. No, even on the interest rate, I want us to say something. We left interest payment at 11 billion Ghana cedis.
Okay.
11 billion Ghana cedis. You claim you have not borrowed more, but we see who are Utiano. I could do 22 billion. That's an exchange rate cost. Debbie. Exchange rate.
More corner exchange rate you're saying. It is all the cat NDC time. That's an exchange rate near 3.9. That's an exchange rate no 5.6. Sanya day in Simua Utiano 2016. And yet they say Ubetia more just because of exchange rate, not because what can it be account.
Listen, let me take my time. Interest now with a foreign debt.
But do not have foreign debt.
No, about 51% of our public debt is domestic debt. Do now with Ghana and also I'm an unforeseen in same way.
Okay, but
that is one. So if the other 50% even suffers exchange rate, has the exchange rate doubled? Said that your interest cost has doubled from 11 billion to 22 billion. You have doubled the interest payment.
That's exchange rate no more than doubled. Exchange rate and double.
So 3.2
from 3.2 it's 5.6.
Only figures on report exchange rate on report to my. Obaba report the whole exchange rate now crosses 6 cities no. Not only the other than 5.6. Okay. But I'm saying say about 50% of your public debt is domestic debt. Attractive exchange rate translation.
Okay.
If the other 50% can give you a doubling of your public debt because of exchange rate, something fundamentally wrong is happening. Do you get what I'm saying? Then the exchange rate should have been roaming around 7% for you to get that doubling of your interest payments.
Exchange rate, no.
Yeah.
The exchange rate, no. Okay, exchange rate.
Yeah, I'm coming. So my point is that if you increase your interest payment from 11 billion to 22 billion, and you are financing that doubling of your interest payment, it cannot be on account of the 11 billion. Okay. It must be on account of the excessive borrowing that has built up your interest cost that you cannot pay, and you are borrowing to pay.
And excessive borrowing, and I make us excessive borrowing, a cabbage or macro, bossy or macro, and you more time. And because of the major infrastructure projects, for instance, a energy crisis, a buy, what's buying a by force, emergency, or cocoto car power, anyway, and you don't a my canoe a cost. For instance, more percentage of a car, mabo, under MPP. Is it not true? Say under MPP, more percentage, you know, I call 107.9% compared to MPP for the
107% of what?
107% of your debt stock from 2017 to date. MPP for the 107 compared to more year 267.
Okay, converted 107%
to what?
Of 107% of 120 billion converted fiscal benya.
You mean to be converting this year?
And now converted
267%
on the public debt in 2012. And answer
yes,
convert fiscal benya.
And year 2012, 2016.
You see, we don't pay interest on percentages. We pay interest on a car there. And so we move figure no from 120 to almost 300, almost close to 300 billion now. Yet the car is here almost 135 billion. We are not paying interest on 1.7% growth.
Okay.
We are paying interest on 135 billion. And when the people we owe come to us, some about GNC car, you 107% in my own, you compare 135 billion near the amount.
But the percentage is not wrong.
It is not necessary. You see,
it is not necessary.
You see, let me tell you. Let me tell you. If I'm running an economy and I increase the public debt by 120%, and it grows the economy to the extent that my GDP is high, and compared to the debt with the size of the economy, I am doing 54%. That is a remarkable result.
Okay.
In other words, I have used the money to expand the economy, and so the money that I borrow is consistent with the financing requirement of that size of the economy. So what you say?
It's consistent with the financing requirement
of that size of the economy. In other words, and suddenly grow my economy to that side, no, I needed to spend that kind of money to grow that economy.
Okay.
So we use your public debt to GDP. And no more taka one sempas. It's also
public debt to GDP.
120 in asifo. And no yan 54%. When you we crown on 58%. So in other words, you are spent.
That was 2019, 59%. 59.16.
Okay, so 59. I'm reduce some 59. Not just say we no borrow economy, no fan grow economy. Na ekwa hen. Konko for bottom. You see, only say Afia deficit inquire 56 billion Ghana cedis. So I'm saying economy will grow by 0.9%.
Yeah, 0.9 because of COVID.
No, it's
because
not
of COVID.
You see, COVID.
Oh no, because of COVID. That's all the economists are saying.
If you make me land, you understand where I'm coming. You see, COVID. You said COVID reduce your revenue. So, okobobo sia dia besia nine. Nti okobobo sia besia nine. So when you sika. Nti COVID in deny will be when you sika o person o dey eduma.
But say, near man ka obetimi do sika here. Now you are channeling into COVID.
Meba. Sika na ye dey amount no kwan. Ebro original budget na o dey buy no. Original budget o dey buy na ye be 87 billion. You see, I want na 109 billion. Just can kra abro so. Unim say o dey sika no, sika puduo no. E de koya ban adwuma yan fan so de kosi school adan so beto cement cement run no jiska na of friend yan income sa cement run no so ekodwom no okoto body a body run no of friend yan income ansa na sa body run no so ko friends efuom no okoto body no e free farmer no ho a farmer no so of friend yan income okay can sa incomes we nyina bomu a you get multiples of what you spent. So what you say? That means that the economy, if really you are spending the money as you have said, those monies will become income to another person, and it will become income to another person, and you become income to another person. The multiple effect of it is that your economy should grow in leaps and bounds.
Okay.
So you spend 56 heading to 109 billion. Now the multiplier be a 0.9. Sikane ka obi mpase anko expenditure. Say your expenditure nko dia. So obi gi sasika no. Asa nipa ko ne gi a. Ono so ebe ko adi sasika no so bi be ko akoma obi foforo. Na sa nipa foforo no so gi a ono so de koto bibi foforo. Nti wo keka ni nyina bomu a sasika kitwa na utuaye no income a generate 3 times the money you spent. We call it the multiplier effect of government expenditure.
Okay.
So if in a particular year who did 56 billion deficit, a total amount of 109 billion. Now economy no. Now economy 1% and grow by even 1%. And no prices can hold the expenditure. And as it got trapped in somebody's bed, under somebody's bed. And
that's a claim you are making. But my main fan that issue no back again. Because if I won't tell people before about me increasing that stock. A car
significantly.
Yes. And there you have a point because from World Bank data no 2000 Mumu free power 2016. What the emphasis from 2016. Because President Kufuor or the year can you call him Pekintino. The chair, but from 2016, 122.2 billion Ghana cedis.
But before you proceed, sir, 122 billion. No, the Auditor General has confirmed the figure near 120 billion, and we deal with the Auditor General's audited account.
We need report no. So I'm going.
These are official records.
This is what I found on IMF
and I'm saying
site.
that it's an official record. You can Google Auditor General.
Mean Google or not?
Because Auditor General
unless I have the Auditor General report in Ukutami.
Now, then a public document.
But I don't have it here. This is what I have.
Okay, so
from into your say Momu free power no. Mujaka 122.2 billion.
Yes.
Ghana cedis. And the MPP as of the close of 2019, Omoka 214.5 billion and omujai, which is the argument are buying to make it so money.
Yes,
service more than double.
We have current data
for by close of 2020 third quarter.
No, we have current data up to June. So we cannot be using 2019. They borrowed a lot in this year. So you should be dealing with current data.
I don't have that one, but this is by close.
And so when here no public document,
yes, because
there is a public document.
That's I say so end day honorable. I finish end day.
No, Mr. June, make us Afia end day. Mr. as a June. There's official data.
That document.
So document. And these are public documents that anybody can research.
But I don't even know why you are struggling because honorable we no it even speaks a mouth because MPP are more than double a car.
Yes, we have said that.
So from 122 to 214, but omo patche say emu dudro no aye debt servicing. Ana na mi busa so mo de akotu amomo kano a mo boto ho ma nti na ama e kana koso nye se bo apayo.
Na me kire ho say me deka na okobo sia di betua ka me kano kosoro ana.
Enkoso but if omo debt GDP debt to GDP now mo de eni mo ma ba form because now it's 9.3 whereas more time 2016 no 2016 more debt to GDP ratio was 90%.
Debt to GDP was 54%. We ended the year with 54%.
You ended it with 54.
54%.
Ended with 54
yes,
and I started with 54.
We ended 2016 with 54% debt to GDP. Okay? And I'm saying that even despite all this debt to GDP, Nana say omo e de omo kaneba say omo bejom sika anye ye debt to GDP na de betua onka o.
Okay.
I don't need betua onka. Ye mfa debt to GDP ntua onka. Because debt to GDP no enye wo dia, enye aban dia. Wo sika bosom so ayetua o na ewo mo. O de be ma aban akotua ka. Na mmom sa aban timi beji ebi aye to a wotua na ekọ animu a eno na obetimi de atua ka no. So the gross domestic product is only relevant to the extent that you can improve your collection of revenues from that GDP.
Okay.
So what you say? Yeba na say wo de ka yeba na ade na 122 wo de akoba 240 something na emre na so say bebeje sika we so don't worry me debt to GDP osoro.
Okay. Omukromo dey cost 62.2%. But isn't it true say under MPP Oma manage the economy better than more NDC?
You are just quoting statistics that are scary.
Oh no, but even omu debt to GDP ratio omu dey no 62.2.
62 is worse. You see, the higher the debt to GDP, the worse.
No, okay, that's what I.
So what am I saying? You have just quoted a failure there.
Okay. But hang on. But isn't it if you take in holistically? Because mind you, this is by close of 2019, not 2020.
It's gotten worse. They are now heading towards 64%.
64%.
They are heading towards 64%. In fact, it may end the year at 67%. So it's getting worse.
Okay. Yeah, Dr. Said Boachebeka said to confirm that
when
for
Dr.
us.
Mahmoud Baumia runs away from an analysis he's been doing previously and begin to introduce new paradigm, know that he's now faring worse on the first one he was talking about. Do you get it?
He's faring worse in terms of the debt to GDP.
He used to talk about debt to GDP. Now he doesn't talk about debt to GDP. He talks about the rate of growth. You saw what you said.
Okay.
So not here. Uchin waha no journey through. Okay, say mrebi. Mrebi. You see, and na make catch your assassin say. Me share ni nim DNA na entity na. Normally be one more ya. You cannot restrain. Say exchange rate, for instance. Now a PhD holder can say. Amonone for sika e bakrom ha no e Ghana for dia dollars nse nya dia euro ni nya dia pound sterling ni nya dia enya dia enti so obi kwa kodi dwa e wa amonone na ohia amonone for sika dia kona sika no dodo na wo krom ha se ne bo beba fom o kodi dwa na dollar no ho akire na ebi ni krom ha ne bo no be den e be kosoro nhihye bebre na ebema saa amonone fosika na doso okromu a ebeba foma ma obi etimi ayisenja akoto no ma no saa hihye no dodo na any Ghana phones any Ghana bahinsem. We call them external exogenous variables. Ebi ni se yekoton ye koko meboa na se bo no osoro na yekoton koko na yenya dollars bebre di bakana nti yeko amansan dwade su na ekwa koton koko na koko ni bo na atia ba fom a na sika enya ne no so a ye de dollar bebe kromu a ye de dollar baba
ye fam baba isn't it also true say percentage of a city depreciation
you are not allowing me
okay, we also
explain something to you. So na say utu fa ngo koton na oji sika ba kromu ha na oji dollar no ba amanone fo sika no be do so a etimi ma dollar ne cedi ni nya ho de cedi ni aho de no cost be say dollar na bu okrom anamboa nti say wo de fango no ko na nka no ye ton $100 a barrel na ko na ye $10 per barrel wo de dollar be ba fia
dabi
say dollar be ba na bi ni nti wo ba na dollar ni ha obi kwa akodi dwa wa amansan dwa so a na per dollar na ne bo de ho be dia na be ba fo
tebe koso
ti say koso na tese aban na amo ne ho modern.
Is that your claim?
My point is that it is not the case that it is always the fundamentals of an economy that dictates the exchange rate. So for a PhD holder to say that if the fundamentals of your economy are weak, the exchange rate will expose you, tells you that he probably didn't understand what he learned.
But he's not just talking about the exchange rate to expose, he's talking about the percentage of depreciation.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
MPP buy the percentage of depreciation, then average 5%.
Average, what different?
Oh, more corner. Now what the other is saying, 3.9.
2019, you were quoting 2019 from. We ended 2019 under MPP with 13.6% depreciation. We ended 2016 with 8%. Are you saying that?
Look at year on year. You see, year on year. Averagely.
Don't fall.
Year on year. Now can you not strike average now? MPP has done better in terms of the exchange rate.
Let me tell you something. You are falling for an analysis that somebody has done, which has no technical basis.
No, I've spoken to
and I'm trying to explain to you. I'm explaining to you.
Me economists. I've spoken to economists therefore.
If you allow me to speak.
Okay.
You see, $dollars is here. Okwa obeka cho me per average exchange rate now. The last 4 years in Yayam. Oko se okoto dollar ko didwa. Oko waka kire bank ni say mpacho the last 3 years average exchange rate no mambi na mpebe $1 million mambi. Netia so e baka kire.
Okay.
So what in the measure on say? You see, exchange rate is not a static variable. And there are instances where exchange rate will escalate because of exogenous variables. And there are instances where exchange rate will stabilize because of the same exogenous variables, even though there are domestic variables also. So, if in a particular period, the global financial sector has a crisis or the global economy has a crisis, and as a result of that, exchange rate goes high, and you go and take the average, you are actually rewarding somebody who is not performing now, but allow him to compare.
Oh no, more time, one average argument here.
But me and the exchange rate, your friend is saying politics back now.
Exchange rate politics.
And I ever said
between President Kufuor and NDC.
No. Oh no, it's our year whole lecture. And I said it at that time that the worst thing that ever happened to us was to politicize the exchange. You know what? Because you remember, because exchange rate is a tool for managing volatility. And there is no particular exchange rate that is correct exchange rate.
Are you sure? So
yes,
there's no particular exchange rate that is correct.
It's a stable exchange rate, and a stable exchange rate can actually be a high exchange rate. So it is not the case that the correct exchange rate must necessarily be a single-digit exchange rate. That is the point I'm trying to make. That in some instances, based on the volatility, the right exchange rate may be 16%. To assess that 16%.
Are you not legitimizing?
No. I'm rather helping them by depoliticizing the exchange rate debate, because they did 13-something% at the end of 2019.
From year-on-year percentage now.
Anna Metre say.
My year-on-year percentage.
No, see, nobody goes to buy a currency at an average rate.
Me to ask you, but I'm not economist now.
I'm explaining to you that you see, Tama, there was stability in the market, because you remember we just doubled our exports of oil after 2 other FPSO came on stream. Gold prices rebounded. We're getting a lot from gold. Are you getting the point? All our exports were bringing a lot of money. The city stabilized. Was watching on the Akoma IGP are lucky. And I'm catching and say 4 years no, and 3 months here no. And you cannot predict.
And there's no any politics.
You cannot predict what will happen to the global environment. What you say? Every year in 2019, you have 13.6%. So anybody knowledgeable in exchange rate mechanism would understand that you can't use that spur of the moment and make pronouncement that will come to hurt you tomorrow.
Okay.
Now, the other thing, and the other thing also say, who can say, oh yeah, exchange rate calculation, remember, 240%.
240%.
Depreciation under John Mahama.
Okay.
Hold
it on.
No, let me finish. No, let me just end this. Before you get to, let me just end this one.
Okay.
240%. Yes.
Exchange rate. Which year was that?
Oh, he did some.
And about me and yes, I calculation.
Okay. You know, exchange rate dynamics is that the principle is that the technical underpinning of exchange rate dynamics is that no currency can depreciate more than 100%.
Okay.
You know why? If it depreciates for more than 100%, it loses value and doesn't become a legal tender. That is why you cannot use rate of change to calculate exchange rate. But Baumia used rate of change and got this figure. When I took him on, you see that now he has run away from rate of change. So what I say, there is no technical professional basis for you to use rate of change. When we were in school, if we investment 101, level 100, they tell you can use rate of change to calculate everything and not currency depreciation. Very basic. Introduction to investment. Investment 101. Now a whole PhD, former Bank of Ghana deputy governor, head of economic management team, former rep of the African Development Bank in Zimbabwe, gets 200% exchange rate, and the next moment he is buying fuel and buying tomatoes and onions at Malata for the wife to cook.
So you are questioning the competence. No?
And Nameka said, Okan Wasema sometimes in the area. If he said he's more than that.
At least, and you are not throwing punches at Baumia.
He's better than that.
You are not throwing punches at Baumia. But what's the exchange rate has even exposed him more than Onwa or Caso be incompetent just because of say the fundamentals when the fundamentals.
Or correct and go for Nesreno. And now we are call
infrastructure lecture.
No, stay hold what do you call economic management team here town hall meeting be the first time April 2019. Okay. When I say exchange rate, you're fundamental, then it doesn't mean that when the exchange rate is fundamentals. That is warped knowledge. Oh, they are here, baby, and anywhere. Almost Reno.
Dr. George Dunphy, University of Ghana, Legon. Doc, I know pay much more Aquaba.
Yeah, Minia,
Doc, where the father is some more, I want to only say, me claim me that say, me economist. Into numbers issues, no, so I don't go to a boom crack. Small research, I may and son, I be we may know Kasa, many other economists, therefore, Ekasa and Sana maybe, and no is my limit in terms of economic knowledge. Into my auntie, I say, some of the things are honorable, I don't go akano. Yet, what is the state of, say, Ghana economists here? Any yaka?
Yo, Miniamba, my main now I see what our opportunity now is there, and here what chief winner. Enano pay mechi honorable Adongo Mamenka say many agents and bibiba and waka home. China or tin bibi and crana emi then. I say
ah ono boga guy ono oti tripa.
Yeah, we are the but ni sama waka ni die make us bibi ho amene ne agent.
Okay.
E wo kwan bibi so. Na Mamenka say can never me the sen kasa afra ufrani. Ka ufra another politician from offend the NPP.
There be another one-on-one. Yashada. Because that no Dr. Baumi also by heart one-on-one, sir. Oh, the Yashada ni so nya one-on-one.
Okay, and the mamenya ni sana minka ensem kakra bi anabo akata. Aminka say ba ko amenye ni ya adwen pa ye sa ajapa deal no.
Ajapa okay.
Adibi ama follow kakra maminka say na nzena mi one off. Fada mi ko no off ka amenye ni kukusia o the airport. Now, me one of and one adjuna me back to Accra for almost 22 or so days.
Okay.
I mean, can it say, and somehow can be no, be some no, any agreement there, a Japan, the many agreement can be which is that as a development and economist, yeah, me my DBFN is sustainable development.
Okay.
Yeah, sustainable development as it's trying to say, and then we said that change, omo bebano. Unya adebia a bet compromising on ability to develop the economy themselves. Eti misha mining a money ye can be your resources if you say ye revenue mining edimu and akotinepa. Eti misha sa do na kwan business kwa say sikan kananka future generation bi na ye tin na offend ye issue. Sa na entiase ne tibia sa na make kan say I'm one of the buy. I read the document in about me sure done any detailed analysis, but me just take a crack dear. Meaning about as a Japan deal, no, me so.
Don't support it.
Yo, meaning, Messi want to say a brain in young free public debt. Public debt na honorable at the shares. When I'm saying any Naji will come be brief. Now, I mean, can he say, as a man can then couldn't meet ye. Someone you represent for ABD at the MSC. Transama, I mean, honorable case or the nominal debt and assess the performance of the debt and the management of the country. You know, yet TB or PPP and China. I'm here. I'm also by that MPP as our position. Almost I mean, I and Komubia, the third. Now, my main can say Uber classroom, yeah, economics as uncommon, yeah, in any case. Obia will use to nominal debt. They compare 1 year's debt to another. No? Economics, yes, he's suffering from money illusion. You can't say an illusion. That unam kwaso the FN quota, we going to be the night in Suta or crowd be doing in Sunni was a riaba. If you understand, you can only be inside the Canada. The entire Canada, not honorable air council, MPP Baumabe Boca 137.
Yeah, at the account, Omomuka 122 billion. No, Muja 122.2.
Yeah, Omuja 122. And the MPP did 130. They organize 135.
Because they say a call, maybe.
Now, because many about that analysis, no. And you wouldn't miss the wouldn't call economic class for that analysis. We don't accept it at all. You know about the entire analysis no and to nominal a year that yen into me say. Then find say Samana Ira Mahama ABC Abenian. Now Ghana you total debt stock in dollars no. Now it was a little over $27 billion.
$27 billion.
Yeah. Satam no. Now $1 was equivalent to 15 pesos.
Okay.
So what I say? Mamin can say na kufu do buy you crown. Ananka onye bosia da. Na kufu do buy one new loan da. Onkoje bosia da. Na enkene no say the emrano che na Bank of Ghana you total debt stock no tem bia no emrano no omri tudwa e wo ye fe no ye Ghana cedi no. E di emfa say ne no say o convert it almost $28 billion na Yewura Mahama ja ho no. O convert no ne e di akọ cedis ma mini aba e be say yakọ am 260 something billion. Can na ti dia nkasa tanke be ka say na Dubai obeto ka 120 billion no. Ono so o di akoduru I mean 160 the other wabosia on say enu ntino enna emma nominal ne yemfa nya adwuma no it is all person this nominal no answer na the nominal ne be adwuma no you have to disentangle the depreciation and effect you see you know a very volatile ya tempia no egusu a esem it say na one neka am depreciation atem egusu a esem again onu anabo no of all kasa no what can be there there's a future value yeah future value no the change na say a city today is not the same as a city 1957 and the city today will never be the same as a city in the next 10 years let's say oninsa dia let's say okase ne a car abanda dan be to yen a car ye ni ye ja nyina ye at 120 billion so they now work no no the 137 na the kan one let's say as he is not being fair to the government because of Myanmar work cost road the no inflation you know CD has been losing value over the years. It is a percent who used to nominal and who used to nominal. You have to deflate it to turn it into real debt. Now real debt now. You need to disentangle the depreciation effect and then inflation effect. So one yes sir, let's say we cannot do now the can. In fact the last time me bow wa fidie that debt asem na make am owura bia o wa sepa ofre ebeye na o support say so 1957 yaka edi nyina ya 122 billion and san na de na kufa do ba oba ya within 3 years ono kwa de kwa 137 about the can that analysis
but doc mpacho my enti ne ma bia say are you saying say just because of exchange rate differences now between the cedi and the dollar niti no say NDC for jaka 122.2 billion no kra no a say MPP for amoka ni bi kra anka ho a e ka ne be koso
number 160
e ka ne be koso
ana eno to we any depreciation ko depreciation is
okay
accounting for almost about 40 billion we depreciate
40 billion out of your public debt no depreciation ko 40 billion
say unya continue unya a transfer from dollar at the cost is pay now with the depreciation account
okay
miniaba match the same way exactly miniaba match the same way ono a okasa no kan say there future value ya me can say no tell say CD yesterday is different the value of CD yesterday is different from the value of CD today and it's going to be different from the value of CD tomorrow it name say CD no and inflation you know CD ni value no echo from the bian you know and next say who could 1,000 CDs and now any 1,000 CDs yesterday and yepe. This analysis, you know, yeah, omu de omu politics in the ya ye din de home. But no question say, uba do say yeah, me say can papa chair ni say debt, you know, debt management and be about we say that go fast our nominal debt na. Let me paper one here from farm. Seriously, be wo offend the effort here and am the amount. So I'm going forward, remember. Going forward, you know. Ya wanye me bia ya bi susu ya bi yesusu bia hwese with debt management no ko yiana na oka bi e bi ni debt to GDP ratio e ho menini nya adwen da say na first na ye reba omi ataka debt to GDP ratio asem na ko ba say ebubo omo no de e dey ato waja aka minia de enti amenini nya adwen ni say debt to GDP ratio no yan show ko ya de am threshold bia for say wow, debt to GDP ratio, about 70%. Your debt has become unsustainable. Yeah, the extent say so. Who be here so be piawoka, obre. This a name be and cananka we and this a ujayo, and son of what near the piawoka. And when the say your debt has become unsustainable, so in the early days of our President Kufono, we subscribe to an economic year, say the can say offend the hippic say kaya. Time I call hippic in the year 2000, precise before, and in the year a qualified my call hippic I think 2002. In your bands and the other call hippic, the year 2000, our debt to GDP ratio in 2006 constant prices was 182%. Minimum 182%. The number you call hippic now. A ma omudi ya can be chair ye ni ade you know it me ma e ma ne ba from we recorded one of the lowest debt to GDP ratio from 1957 in 2006 at 26%. Meaning, about 26%. Let's say 70% now we do now we judge you. Let's say you feel one abba baby, nanka a year pa. The Musa said, at the end of the year, 2008, you went and debt to GDP ratio now. 2016, Obia can want them, sorry, 2006, Obia can want them say, you know. That's I could do, I'm a 32 million. Figures are making, it is in 2006 constant prices. Yeah, I'm a rebate. And known as they say, I'm only 2 hours here about me and Adrian, and we are never home. You offer the friend 2006 constant prices now. There's a debt to GDP ratio. In the year 2006, so that I can, you know, not at the 26. Now, you are for Ebercon, or the quarter 2. Now, after make up, you will be a specific question, when Papena, a dome, a go back. And I'm saying, of course, I need to know, no, or year program, you also setting the record street if I'm straight, if I remember. And then he would always come and criticize us and go for Obi also about to that to GDP ratio of 182. Now, in fact, those days they were in 1993 constant prices, not on two figures I'm making. It was after 2010 the rebase, you know, and the figures winning a year, it's in a me to 2006 and a constant price. It's not so much Latinian or than said. And then I'm a debt GDP ratio because of I'm hypocrite in a conform. A year then, within 2 years, I'm President Kufuor at the cost of and indeed, in 2006 constant prices, you know, debt to GDP ratio increased from 26% it was in 2006 to 32%. And the year will be fair, this year, my debt, of relief, and this year, they 6% account. And at the time, now, you call 2009, yeah, I'm about to buy, me in particular. Now, me hope you understand debt to GDP ratio, a better baby, I'm etina. Because after me, I buy no opposition. What should I say? Nyame buana, ya benyo imana, or no dear. Obeba modern debt to GDP ratio, Obama na call from pa. Inia, a day see it. The who ya understand, I be a 32 now. 2008, 32% and near come with them. The we has a 2014, not debt to GDP ratio, I could do 71%. Saturn and I'm here about me at a casa de Gibin. Yeah, in 2006 constant prices, we lost you debt to GDP ratio of 32. And I'm mobile mama, Nadia, Majibusiama, Tabre, Babia, Mudia Quaco Dream. 71, it's Ushama in 2006 constant prices. 2014, we want to hit again. Because then we are over hypocrite, not just that. With that to GDP ratio, actually the minimum threshold of 70 percent. In 2014, no question said we went back to the hypocrite status. Yes, that time is not hypocrite and the Bianca and apply.
But doc, isn't it true? Says a CITA a car yabo, any even cost of your debt service in the crop percentage is your term hypocrite. In 2014, they are now because we are almost. Mamma interested in wouldn't be. So you can't a car with your minimum part of Minia. You can't a car with your own. And yet, Sabi, Usha me say, as a university lecturer, the catch was a medica 1,000 Ghana. And so then you can, but the card may compare Sabi, Ubia, Abia, or Tony, and Ashwater, or more the cat house in that. And you catch a step man. And the economy be an you you say, now Castle Costro.
I'm for the tenant to us or something if I got it right. You know, now, when some year do now, what car would you know, when somewhere you do know, a minute can and then you find debt to GDP offering ratio. Then, was the year that's part towards it, you'll be the cat was there. What the cat, I'm a 50,000 offend the Ghana citizen. And now they are original way. But we can be cut was there. Hey, Jordan Fair, what the 50,000 got. That is a problem, man. But you see, come one. Now, me this a better problem. It's in that time beyond the first nominal name and name and
yeah, but doctor, what kind of idea? I didn't know. But Baumia, aha, it made all called as some about me. I can't say, no. Time and NDC debt to cry 122.2. No. Now, Baumia Casena, when the fundamentals are weak, ebe expose you. And debt to. Okay. Mr. Wa. It's on idea make can say one we know offender 2014 we went back to HIPIC at the status per 2006 constant prices
Minia, answer na NDC be free abaimunu. That's the GDP ratio in 2006 constant price, and it was 73.1%. So they came to and inherited at 32 and left it at 73. And see, Papaya only to studio, and some are working. I am surprised, Pastor Obia. Now we can't have Bano or budget debt to GDP ratio 2006 at 32%. Now when senior manager Amana Anka on Opojano 73.1%, and now we now say with that management when I'm there, I mean, attempt to come. I mean, I'm not the figures now work. Your man will buy and said, even though December 2016, now debt to GDP ratio in 2006 constant prices now 73.1%. 2018, we rebased our economy, and we moved the constant year prices from 2006 to 2013. And the economy in the year 24.2% bigger. Until the moment your economy becomes bigger, and if you divide the total debt by the GDP, then the debt to GDP becomes what? Smaller. And the command Maminkan said the year 2016, the debt to GDP ratio and 73.1 in 2006 constant prices. In 2013 constant prices, about 56.85%.
56.65%.
Yeah, that is some Ramahama aircon, the debt to GDP ratio. In the current constant prices, in the 2013 constant prices, because 2018 and I rebase the economy. The 2018, you are rebasing and that figure we know. And 73 now and from 2006.
And you think we base and Sabre can be before they were 9% or a
and Kabadi Sam, and then I'm no Bayazino. And can hippie status, no yarding.
Hang on, Doc, but so emphasizes our point too. Intikanya rebasing of the economy and Casabre Kagani, you do
17.
So which means that MPP and shut down manage your economy is
no Mamin can you mean that you can examine as a almost diano a kakra Mamin church mukakana yeah said even though Omubato 73.1% to GDP the following year 2017 it dropped to 69.8 even though very close to 70. Now yes, Usha the bar the year 2017 it also dropped further to 66. But when in BB almost a banking sector and energy sector at the bailout. Papaya can once in the BBC. I don't want to talk about them anymore. Now Sani Manema no muye and bailout no muye and look who be now my day. Almost that GDP ratio. I mean currently as we speak, Mammy. Currently as we speak. The 2019 figures that I have, about budget, the debt to GDP ratio, 57.44.
57, and yes, 62.
And the constant prices, no.
But 67 and now 57, Doc. Mr. 57 and now 67.
57.44 without the bailout.
67.44.
Yeah, 57.44 without the bailout.
Okay.
And then 60.55 with the bailout.
Okay.
But let me say that this figure was up to the end of September 2019. I don't have the figure at the end of 2019.
Okay.
Figure is the first 3 quarters of 2019. And the figures now. And the final, many short a very different from this. Even though I'm not fourth quarter, and Yamata, etc.
Okay.
And the mentioned so we share some offend NDC be found 32% in 2006 constant prices. Or they call 73. The rate at which it was moving. So what did they compare? We must rate now. Or move found 56.85. Yeah, and then I'm 50. And then I'm 60. No, I'm 60. No, with even the bailout. No, that's just a rate now a day cost. No, I'm on home Africa. I mean, answer na the entire Akobasa and he said. That and now Kazakasano, Busiana or Mobono. I mean, compared to the total debt stock now, and also said the baby and HM. Meaning, I say, you are only I don't go. So, on the Bayajina. Already said the year, your friend debt accumulation and ratio. Yeah, you can't say the children in said. So, would the 100 cities afinu so ye no e ka do do say na oboka 100 cities no ho minua 2013 the debt accumulation ratio was 47.45%, and that was the highest since 1957. 2013 the debt accumulation ratio is 2013 na Ghana ye can 100 cities 2013 kwa ye bo 47 cities and the kan ye kan 2014 ye call so abo ka bebrebe 2014 the debt accumulation ratio 49.9%. Obi a otie mi bia betimi atake figures wi ewo 2018 budget statement page 30 figure 4 that the title is trends in public debt from 2013 to September 2017. And if you look at it, all these figures are there. Senior, the debt accumulation ratio 2014 is part of the reason why today we are paying so much of interest payments. Now, Papa Nekasan was saying, now interest payment 11 billion. Nene, according to 22. In fact, the Emi Yani said, no question, said, interest payment in them. And you put here what bonnet and Nora and then a Wutia. So, more Busia Nora and a Wutia. I mean, Busia the Benayani about Duduanano. Yana, your money, dear friend, and moratorium. And yes, I would give Busiani nada. Now I shall say, the Utia and Wunsi. It is every year that is in a Nakuba, the Busia, or boy, any Menino. Duduanano, Abam, Fry, Baban, and Ebetia. It is every so what is the interest payment last year? We spent 70 billion and almost 20 billion Ghana cedis went into interest payment. Majority of which, almost all, abandoned the Chamun. She said, or interest payments are some. Because or the cassetia about way management of the economy.
Badok, the point is, Doc, Mbachabucho, the point is, I don't go cassetia. Abaya wo say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia Vice President wo say all the ka Bosia NDC boy epem mo kutia e ka say debt to GDP ratio in fact say the honorable Adongo cannot the campaign tia omo into uba power you cannot be excuse from the same accusation say wo ba na wo bo bi egum
miniaba I don't na me tell you mo say e no correct but that GDP ratio na me tell you so we follow pa na say the waiting for a follow ya it was worse during Honorable Adongo's government. No doubt about that. You can't take Onwa winning pa.
It was worse under Honorable Adongo Mabino.
Over Peki Adeni 32, 8 years, what it was 73. And it is Obia Bedia for you. Now, Obia Bedia for 56. Now, 4 years, what you do 60. Now, say, the other, I didn't say, Mama, I'm able me and can't get to GDP ratio again. Many in they say in 2006 constant prices now. They picked it at 32, they left it at 73.1. And will be able picking 4 years in 2013 constant prices at 56, and then our dinner 50. It is almost, about 3 years. What is that account? What they about 4 percentage points in account.
Okay.
But Usha, 8 years, from 32 to 73. What about 41 percentage points in the account? So what I say, it is a can of your friend, moral rights now. I can make it say, your politics, Lama, young fat, the subby, you can't inquire there, and the temple Asanka, politics, the baby year said, the annual year, you can't, not the best near and papa, you can't. And coming so called no other said, debt management and NDC was not the best. That is why Ghana had a serious problem. When in 2015 April, we have to run for cover from from IMF. Now when they make cuts and the banking sector bailout in that, one cut out some, and I'm very surprised because our banking sector name and Yamana work cut or Muya. And yet, say economy no, because 70 pounds some years, not April 2015. You're subscribing to extended credit facility from an IMF. And no, and Jabba or banking are airborne. They stated it in that particular document. I will share the document with you. It is they attack our government. That's a net. When you may say, there's a one other dome, you say, Yamuawa. Ye A, ye B, ye C, and who send an other working camp. Then one said, when Timmy and Churchill said, then your man yet, and Timmy at Yamokodomo and IMF, and almost and says a banking sector never boon. Then ye A, B, C, D, but what kind of president we decided to do A, B, C, D, to ensure an improvement in the banking sector.
Okay, Doc.
Yes, discussions now. And more for now so political, now so skewed. And more conversation now. I see a young man baby I kono.
Okay, Doc, I know I say I no pay. My son Fro, my now I say I no pay. Dr. George don't fair our University of Ghana Legon or Chim say, Osha debt to GDP ratio per there, or say more by you perform poorly. Because within a short time, no, and somehow okay, and yet what juma and I'm way, you know. Me for quick response, you can break him money and for other economists.
He started, I thought it was an academic. But
academic.
But he ended up a politician. Because,
no.
But he said we. He kept. You should have listened to him.
We as a country.
No, we as India government.
No.
Chief, it is clear. But let me make the point. Dr. Bawumia held Ghana's public debt in 2018 constant for 8 years. That was not money illusion. He held the public debt now about Akufo-Addo eja Ghana. Friends saying Akufo Ghana no. He held it constant for 8 years and no they compare here there. So that time no na don fe enye illusion. No hu ye. Say nominal values. Nominal value had been held constant for 8 years by a PhD economist. He didn't hear that one. TNO. Bawumia did that. And now you say we should change the rules from what Bawumia had taught us.
I said Bawumia
no, holding 2008 public debt constant for 8 years and was comparing. Now, 2008 public debt na dollars, ni euro, ni pounds in him. And no, they are not exchange rate in him. Ne momu ye ne de no ye ja no enu mom na suddenly exchange rate abem. So
okay, you have a point.
Now, you see, he kept confusing himself. You are using.
Economists, no.
Oh, you see, let me make my analysis. Okay. Economists, if he's confused, he's confused.
No, you don't focus on him.
I need to focus on him because he dealt with a number of issues. You are talking. Did he tell you the base year for the 32% they left in 2006 or 7? He didn't tell you the base year because that base year wasn't even 2013. So if you were to rebase that, where will you be? Now, you said that we move it to 73% based on an old base year.
Okay.
But when you want to strike the difference, you use 2 different base years.
Okay.
To calculate the difference.
Okay.
And then when it comes to you, you now use the rebase year to calculate the difference.
Okay.
That is academic dishonesty. That's academic. In fact, ask him whether if his students do this type of analysis, whether they will pass his paper. You see, Nanka.
We have to be fair and ask him whether he used different base years.
Oh, but we heard him. You were not listening. He was using
listening.
32 in 2018 or 2016, which was a different base year, and compared to 73, and ended up and then striking a difference over 8 years old. Then he uses a base year. When you asked him, if we hadn't rebased, where would you have been? Okay,
I was thinking about
no, academic and contrary, baby.
But okay,
figure.
And you now say 76, no?
Oh, 76, move. 76, yeah.
On can say, yeah, or say a epic.
So if it is epic, how can you now say that you would have taken us to epic, but you are better? You see, if 70% is the dreaded mark, the closer you are to 70, the worse. Now you're saying somebody who had 54 is worse than somebody who is about 68, very close to the 70. Who say no momu ye? No momu ye ni aye wo chiri kura e room wo mo e betimi ahwahwa e ho kura no ye de no nye. Nominal values, we have always said that you can't use nominal values to compare
values. Have you always said that?
Oh, we have said that. I have said that at several lectures. It was one of the weaknesses I pointed out to Bawumia. But he's very comfortable with it. So if you are comfortable with it, bring it on. Because you see, in 2000 and a friend is saying 12 I say for Urban, you had no track record. So you had the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
So you could spew out everything. Now you have a record. So if you still want to do that pedestrian analysis, check your data. Now you see that he's running away from the pedestrian analysis.
Why not running away?
Bawumia,
okay.
And now doing, if nominal values are no good, you see, the figure you used to calculate the debt to GDP in 2016, what would have been the value of that figure today if we were to find the current figure?
Okay.
the present value. What would it have been?
Okay.
Do you get the point?
Now,
so this idea of selective amnesia.
Is that the case? Is that the case?
That is selective amnesia. When it is your government, it is all right. When it is not your government, then it is wrong.
It is not his government,
Chief, you see, we know independent analysts. And when we see a political analyst, we can tell.
This man, I know him, is a very independent person.
I am saying that I am making my point based on the selective amnesia he was making here. Nominal value of debt comparison, was he not here in this country? And now we are paying Baumia ba mu studio hey. One by nominal value calculations. Or no PhD in economics. Or by you are and no any illusion.
Okay. Now another economist will say me boost out this question. Say, then am GDP a fall year at the time and I'm more a fall year from I mean quote the exact figure from 14.6% in 2011 to 3.4 in 2016. More GDP growth rate, you know.
One, the first thing everybody must know is that it is almost impossible to maintain the same level of growth when you hit the peak.
Which one is the peak?
When you hit 14.5%, the level of investment you need in order to stay there is so high. So anybody who was expecting that Ghana will continue to grow at 14.5% was living in paradise. The reason is 2011 was the year we saw the highest investment in the oil sector in Ghana. And in that same 2011, the non-oil GDP growth was about the highest we have seen in years. It is not easy to maintain the same level of growth.
In 2011?
But everybody, 2011, that's why we got the 14%.
Yeah.
So it is not possible for any government to have maintained Ghana at 14% consistently all the way for about 4 or 5 years. That is a very weird expectation of anybody. So that was just not possible.
Okay.
And it will never be possible.
Okay.
The other one is that...
Why it fell in 2016?
In 2016, everybody knows that for half of the year, we did not produce oil because we had a turret-bearing problem at the Jubilee fields.
We were
solving it, but we were able to solve it towards the third quarter of the year.
Okay.
And you notice that by the third quarter of the year, when we have finished solving it, Ghana experienced the first balance of trade surplus for the first time.
Okay.
So we had a problem with turret bearing. We were not producing enough oil. Everybody knows that the world crude price, oil price had come down, tumbled so much that you recall just 2 months after the implementation of the 2015 budget, Honorable Setekwe had to appear before Parliament to deliver a policy statement. That policy statement...
After he said the economy is growing in leaps and bounds.
I am saying that within 2 months, January, February, he appeared and said that as a result of the challenges that we're having with prices of oil on the world market, the estimate that we have used, which was dictated by the Petroleum Revenue Management Act, which pegged it at 99%, could not be met, and that we're going to lose over $700 million, and something had to be done. Okay. And that was what made us to go and amend the Public Petroleum
Act.
Petroleum Revenue Management Act. Apart from that, gold prices has tumbled. Said that even mining companies were threatening to close down their mines. Okay? Cocoa prices had tumbled. The end result was that the extractive sector, which is gold and oil, recorded 17% negative growth. Yes, negative growth, 17%. Okay. You see?
And then the GDP growth rate is falling.
So school. Now you A, near amount 4. Now you A, near amount 4. Now you C, near amount 1.5. I calculate to grade point average. Okay. So what you say? So
so you're bad. Taking from where you left. You are leaving.
Let me land. You will notice that in 2016, the growth rate of 8% that we had, about 70% of oil sector recovery registered that growth. So we had to be able to still sustain 3.5% meant that the non-oil sector was robust and could take the shock of the oil sector decline. Are you getting the point? So for anybody who understands the dynamics of the external shock that we had at that time.
External shocks meaning oil prices,
gold prices, and then we also had the challenge of production.
Are you saying that no beyond more control? We
determine oil prices for oil market and our cocoa prices. Okay. And the turret bearing we could not even produce for about 5 months. Okay. So by 2017, when we had brought 2 new oil fields, and the price had actually rebounded on the market, cocoa price, oil, everything had rebounded. You saw that the economy saw a serious rebound.
Okay. Busa mama men ka so guso here live UTV critical issues near honorable Isaac Adongo 101 ya friend Dr. Donfe nkofo bebe the message aba ye be dane ho ye ba back ya ne Dr. Said Boache nom ne Dr. Edusa akode no be twetwe nkomo nam ya cause honorable Adongo figures in bebe hwehwe nkofo bebe aso omo ka so mo ne nya adwen. In fact, we'll go back to NDC, Boshe Baby, or Machagana for, including CK, Busan, baby, or Mekako for so restructuring. And no say here economy is being watching whether restructuring no antidote na because I say we Yebusa Nanado the same question time or cast or free years baby say a boy sing a cassane or oben how long yen na Yebusa question we year enough double track abum until we have to ask NDC the same question. Samusum betwe sikandia ehina moko omasa ka say betu assembly members obeka NDC account betu assembly members sika na mfi heaven o haya omudi free because say oil revenue ni ye free SHS nti sika bia na ba bia akofa nti assembly men na betu omuka na efree allowances so de be man for taxes president mama so obete so no odi sika na free e na ode be ba nya busie ya as say debt stock no so kwa na ekoso na ye ba na aba be sa community train e bra ye bo sa nkomon ba ten crime divine no say Dr. Donfe who starting ye pa ba say when dey no yakọ political argument say the honorable Adongo kano na Davi Maka no say vim dey dum so still Waterman New Town enti ka cha Adongo so omo be hyehye bo a omo address sa long term solution for dum so anto say no say Afia watiefo no do so na baby a modern nam no yakra yakọ school kakra no kwenti ase to see yin free GDP no because omo no GDP for omo very important point and opani o kana anto o say pa because Ghana for no oti dwom ne ade a GDP man botum nto onhwe ehonum Bobby Boate no say Afia today de Adongo na ne kasa eni o asem edu champon safo no say Afia mo ye adwuma pa mo ye adwuma na Hansen adai and so say kwasi edu champon safo if this is the truth there now on no credit e beja ne sa and George kwasi ewuko no so Barcelona and Ocean na dodo no ade mo kan de atia honorable Adongo here the reason why Dr. Baumia ba so no kwa na be kasa obi anye na chiembo a nti honorable Adongo ba ha ono so na kasa ye cry afra economy say ye cross check figures no any sema all kind of bigos ata no say exactly me pe Dr. Donfe asempa ene ma no ko ina on point but the end no na asena politics akwakobam honum George Mensa no say Adongo de unsua ade we a wo kanyina doku tufo check the correct figure still awo ne na etwema so mi wa wonya economist Dr. Donfe na ye economist nti o say Afia ka che Adongo so onya economist nti ya oni economist for no emetwema so Kingsford o say Boate no say Dr. Donfe waka say ye pa ende ne pe ena na me no wo issue alaji odum no say this doctor is the same as Baumia omunyina so omo ba no omo ho che omo Cephas Donyo and I say if we want to call someone call a neutral person na we no ma ya to de bia mo kofro omo de fa no omo politicians omo cha de we invest so le mosa and I say but whose fault ena ma dollar no call for ma Adongo abetan ho no ma o katia obi no wa NDC and ama dollar no call for no obi ba no ye ni ya fe de o say ensan fam ahoma enkosan Baumia ekomu ana how and I'm pre Kanuche and I say if Dr. Donfe ne academic credentials now demand they say Mr. Nipa ko school no okosua de a yen na ndu PhD level ye kakra na ye be ko ho nti give people unte numbers na say atobo ansa na wabo nkofo names abusafa na na ye homra ye ba ye ne onobo Adongo be kasa bi oni ahwe bo hye na NDC hye bebre no sika no amu different e no mo de eba na other issues and also any economists Dr. Said Boache mbetwetwe komo na mo e de awo Adongo so ne ahwe ne figures no de mind e mu de he and enye correct I know so ebetime enya chemu ya ba sesi critical issues and aguso hwe no Abusia for yema akwa baba UTV so live critical issues any dey bra we ne ye promises NDC are making the MPP for ebe obeka ananu ya excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia eba hanom ma obeka ensem bebe for economy no ene bo sha MPP for ashe Ghana for na yera adongo so finance committee no so e parliament osha manso eba 2016 Adam Smith against Adam Smith you say wale Adam Smith against Bogatanga Adam Smith na ye Honorable Isaac Adongo ene Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and Omo can so say Dr. Bawumia say ni baby okan no enye no kre. Ya for economists trying to explain numbers no yehu ene issues ni baby say dey be hu de ekọ ene de no kre na de enye no kre nyina ntia no pay ya samu akọ aba eba eye critical issues e from Afia Pokua Honorable Adongo Honorable ye ma akọ aba bi na numbers na wo kan wa say enko daily bread enhu ene ma ye simple issue a maka say mbetua assembly members Moka se mbe restore nursing training allowance na moka se nka monye no muso mbetua mu betua eye friend say infrastructure president mama kraka say in fact ade ba ko be ye key infrastructure development health sector or the bebrebe kom sa sika ni nyina mu di free.
Okay, so no health nursing trainees teacher trainees are being paid from Get Fund and the National Health Insurance, so the money is already there. Assemblymen, we have about 135.
What do you mean by the money is already there? What saying?
It's coming out of Get Fund. The proceeds that we generate from Get Fund. So and then NHI. That's where we are paying the national insurance, the nursing training and the teacher training. So we'll continue to keep it as such. The other issue about assemblymen, His Excellency has made it very clear that he will rather run a lean government and make the resources available to support local governance at the level of the assemblies.
Say a lean government so better
ministers Zongo development. Of course, we can run Zongo development effectively and reduce the cost. You see, Zongo Development Fund is actually using its money to fund the ministry. Because the ministry is drawing its money, the ministers, the chief directors, and all of that are drawing their monies from the Zongo Development Fund. Okay, so where the money is supposed to go, it rather goes to the ministry and stuff like that. You need to streamline that so that the monies go directly to the Zongo Development, so the kitty can be big for them to provide the right support to the assembly.
These are very key political issues.
Once setting up Zongo Development Fund, sika ekosa futuo no ma odi kwa akoye mpuntudwuma e wo Zongo no wa ba be create ministry ministry ni na hwe sa Zongo Development Fund so nti minister or deputy minister or chief directors ene ne ekeka ho omo nyina etwe free sa Zongo Development Fund sika na ese nka eko Zongo no nti ekwan ya wo be fa so asa sika no nka eko ministry ni na sefo no obetimi ahwe Zongo Development Fund no so e wa abra sika no ebi nkodi ministry hono ye be yes anhye no and say yes anhye na asika no dodo na betimi aboaye ama yetimi anya sika aboa ye maame ne mo ne na sefo a omo hia sika didwa e wo Zongo no. It's another way you can actually make money available. Ye betimi dia support ye maame no mo a omo hia sika de didwa na ade ba ko so a me pese meka de omampanyin fantu jada esa na meyi nanum se Now, Osha, the big push now, $10 billion United States dollars for 4 years.
Big push, nefi.
Big push, infrastructure development.
Okay.
Now, Osha, Ghana is sick assumption shares CA now. Afu wenkwano ye did 10 billion na ye borrow for the deficit, and so ye nya near John Mohammed de be 4 years.
Okay.
Obi this are 10 billion no Afia 2020 or the share budget ni $10 billion deficit.
Enya no mo de be rose ni ade no.
One road 56 billion na no oba ye ya obusa na one hu ne kire. Speed ramps. Toilet. Yanka say enyo. Na eno no susama ye ni a. Na wo launch e ma. Na say bia na susama oba wo ko obi e kura sia. Na me kire say eno
no so na ye life saving project.
Ni a me kire wo. Ni a me kire no say eno no ye ja no ma assembly for ene assemblymen no mo yes adwuma no. So central government so oba be kire infrastructure development na ye dwuma edimu anya dwuma omo wase ho na eso omo ye. So what you say? Ebi ne say so oba be kire infrastructure na atam na edo akwakosi rich hospital wa hu say wow Ghana na sadisi oh ya ka say ya be ye mfa ni atamo de wakosi terminal 3 wa hwa no ba wonu eno ne efre no infrastructure development obi spend $10 billion na jo ma here for 4 years no afi baako.
No, it's not a matter of us spending or the year then afi baako.
It's the deficit. 56 billion deficit is equivalent to $10 billion.
Okay.
Obi say for size can mami afi 9. Afi bia mami $2.5 billion of that money. Me be yen senche ne maye bi nsuda. Enya afi na me be kan obeka say bia me pay 2 minutes. But unim me sanu adwuma dada. Enti se me nya $2.5 billion afi bia enkosi afi 9 no. Ne me de be ye no wa weni beje. Obi so agi size can afi baako. Ye de twen.
Enti sasika na mudi kotua nurses no sasika na mudi
nursing sika no every get fund.
Enti sika no wo de koye then what is the project targeted?
That's why I don't want to go into details because His Excellency Obepa want to.
But more plan.
Oh yes, we are very clear what we want to do with it. But you see, because I ever launch a manifesto nintino, me pese me take it a shine. And so. But
someone who say MPP buy you so my infectious disease centers any are there few almost say
yeah so be na yeah.
Obi na yeah
private sector
private sector
private sector no a private sector na yeah the infectious disease center was built by the private sector.
Everything from
everything,
A to Z.
omo dey woman commissioning ana omo ko yeah ana o say okra we journalist okra no waje atum so omo na omo yeah yo nka mama me bie nu omo bie ni so ankyere wa nka o de nam so omo aye infectious disease center omo commission ye
enye ni aban sika kapre
hwenim ko kan ha say oil sika omo de SHS
omo de free SHS oil money
Eurobond money omo de buy approval for 2020 no 2.4 billion which constitute the cost of free SHS was borrowed.
But eno ye after a double track ne accommodation issue.
Afi we no se si an use loans from the Eurobond, the capital market, and omo de finance free SHS.
Is say ensesa the first omo share no omo de oil revenue ne koye me.
You see, the truth is that when you talk about review, first, free SHS must be anchored on a dedicated funding source. We will address that.
No, I remember some.
We will address that. Okay. 2, parents and stakeholders must have a say as to how we deliver free SHS, in order that we will not have the problems we are having in our schools. That is not cancellation, and we want to make it clear and very emphatic that NDC are buying and cancel free SHS in net and cancel free SHS in the China. Nemom yebeye shishaya. Say double track ni de esi eni so se be yefro.
But anya no so na MPP for say mo ye nya atwon because this is a project am share that kotwa advert criticizing it and anya no crave na de
we told them say we were running free SHS and it was progressive because we wanted to be sure that this situation of your friend is saying double track ni na say for no now it has happened. We must solve the problem. Okay. And we will deal with it squarely. Okay. Because after almost how many years now? 3 years. We haven't expanded. When I make sure say training college because you say yeah, double track. Colleges of education because we didn't expand infrastructure.
You know that for sure. Say double track.
Educationists who have had meetings with them have told me. They haven't even expanded infrastructure. A lot of kids are going to go into those schools. A lot of kids are going to training polytechnics. A lot of kids are going to the universities. The infrastructure is still the same. Are you getting it? That is visionless, and we have to address that. Now, if
I mean, a canon so na member also be Dr. Said Boachewo, our man so doc my clarification. Doc, I no pay more kwabo.
Yeah, I'm listening to you, so I'm going to say.
Yankopa Daro Manon Pibo, Allah here super. Doc Cheche Musa, a ye car, ye dear Cecia, or mine a car, ye dear. Ye do he pick an Doc, what's it? What's it? I just say you do all.
Because I was because you do hipping, I said hipping is some special. The other kind of where the amendment diagnosing, my name is Mr. Dongo or Titrisa.
Or Titripa, So afrafrani on dey bi odi agro o techima ni kumase.
Me nim so ti ba ho grampo.
Oh, ti cheaper. Yes, you no pa ni papa no nti. I'm say guess na che ni cheaper nti.
Okay. Yeah, let's go straight to the point. What's of minor eka? A class of Ghana, a my eka, yana, a yaya, as from ekakra. A sunset. Nipa de eka, oh, ye, see a boomerang. Ubu mine would, oh, wow, Sumu. Never be a hunter like a crabby ba. Now I could bubble see the upper support. And I say, it be a one developing project to be officer, so I don't remember project idiot. But it's a kind of shimmer and home for so be ba.
Okay.
Then so Sikani, hotel, and I'm covered boosting information. Now, for so no bahua, Namdia Quacotia. If you may be an old cow, I could bubble stand the Afia for me and something nine. Now, what means can outside the Quacotia. Samaka, I was in echo.
Okay.
The moment baby air quid, I said Bosnia Bonner. Yakobo Busiano. Yes, a project to be near yo. I could do baby a Bobusiano, yes, I could Jabusian. And I Yakobo Busian, a diamond for. And then I make a say. A son say, so share 1980s, 1970s Mubanoa. Na a my Bosnia Bonner Dawson. A Dawson after the Yahushi in the 1980s. And a Rollins are by the Kosher Abrofonsa, IMF, no weapon.
Okay.
And on by now, I don't buy school headmaster. Ghana buying, or my own affair say, I'm by drivers, I should say. And a Ghana buy a conductor, bus conductor. And I'm almost and a Ghana, a minor, the car. But a boy, yes, not a Nguasika.
Okay.
As a bar and my independence. Now, for the more common who are sharp of Yasi beam and on a memo share a mamma. Now, so many they want a chill and on by no may share my answer until but early 1980s. No. Now, after the a man who sick as no, I can hack a crack. Now, after the Sika, Yadico Tria, work a Sika, Yaditra, ye cannot be mono. Not a one high. In fact, by 1991, now 48%. You see, I buying in Union and you did 3 workers. And it's I did 3 offense. It's I did 3
okay.
After acquiring the offense, a Fourth Republic. Now, you just Ghana, my phone, see, a one Busia boys, young San Fabusambo, and your Bobusia San. Until the 1990s, after deficit ratio, money declared, and I saw Busia Bonaf and I had that. Until the do year 2000. Now, Sika Banji, only 106%. In other words, the ritual compensation. Yes, I did interest in debt service, no, generally. No, 106% of our revenue. In other words, what do you say? What you mean? What's our combo 6% at the Guso? That compensates with the old workers of cow and all bank development project. Be and a Bosnia one was I did which is debt service expenditure and compensation of employees. Year 2000. The staff of Bosnia 6% revenue. Yes, I never what not cover. And the president of Foba say, "Hey, I saw they are more than my day." And was here for you. Yes, I did call epic. You could declare who say again. My intimate your workers going to can get you. This is about Bosnia say to me, I can't want to my side my way. People could buy and I've broken the Bosniano, the chair. In the total of compensation, any debt service expenditure, a suitable bas are 54%.
Okay.
In 54% somewhere in 2007. Let's just say, 40-something% to be able to be a young for. Let's say, Masaba. He picked him. Now he picked him twice, and in fact, I got him. be 2012 mu nyina na epic no sika no beba enti na ahohawo na fi ye 2013 esaba no ena bosiabo no esa edokso
from 2013
eba no ena bosiano esa doso ti ye bobosiano sa be 2016 na 90% of our revenues and grants it is spending a trabusia and compensation chrono. Now, I am but at least near 10% a year. A bit media and Yama for. I said, about the so mono, it is a be almost of the society of them. Oman Francis Sayama, Busia Bonwan, a ban also every swap. Every year, 2019. Now I do 99.7%, which is actually 100%.
99%.
99.7. 100% no.
Yeah, 100 approximately 100%.
100%. Total revenue and the grants. I did any money. I've got for the number of the it is your bush and your book. I feel your bush and your in your workers' income. Yea, a brand new many promises are more fulfilling. Free SHS. Infrastructure. Statutory transfer. And no one automatic. It's a statutory transfer. No Afia or say get fund. Muniska we are. Monfa do those in kwa. Road funds. Can be monfa do those in kwa. Say district assembly common funds. Can be one be attached. Monfa do those in kwa. There's one is the come out of the year. I say, I'm from portion and from Kohono, who maybe now be a cop. This was a bubble now, the alcohol. And you're home here.
Yes.
And you're home here.
Not just a dog, says, see, I know with 99.7% in there. You're chum hippie crowd.
I said 2008, 105.5. In other words, not a broke for crowd. It was a couple of percent, not in the year, any man. In 2019, just 100%. Who could this Sika Bana Gini in about one and now on the ABB. Until we get funny idea and Brahma say, you tax revenue a transfer, no, won't be not transfer, not Bobusian transfer. 3 SHS now, a day amount for no, near Cobobusian, the Acopand is 3 SHS. Okay,
but, Doc, who to be a mind to me, yeah, excuse say. Saying my way now or a investment here. That she didn't for so for instance, railway, free SHS and Crania baby doer. And no other son, the Sikana Yasa, and San the Ababeshe, economy, you to me, yeah, and no, and your value for money at Twasumana.
Free SHS. Okay, so analyze free SHS. Maybe a main Kasam question, Minister of Finance, and Kasamae. A best I feel a man in which econo. Minister of Finance catch say, Obi system Minister of Finance, bet my hand credum. Afia. Also, bet my hand credum. Minister of Finance will say, who be pray. Obi I want to make him credum, Obi bet me shark crabako.
Okay.
Oh, no one is sick at the house, bet with the Akanaba. Now, Obi, and here no, Abu Bruno, Akobosia, Obi, Papa, and say, Abang. Akobosia, not the bet you will be with me to one of the
okay.
No, in home. Efe, yes, a quarter castle will be a quarter qua. Who not a really being share. Now the work of Plata, the Yakoche. What Yanko Poker.
Okay.
Now, Bishop.
And to dog, who propose an essence, come on, a suggestion about Kenyan Sakaye. Our free assets, which is one of the reasons that President Mama NDC or proposes on Ben Sakaye. Can only a better. Change the Abaya and wholesale. No,
yes, I understand. Or more amp planning.
Okay.
Or man planning.
Okay.
It's a brown bar, I say 2017 at IFS, your children crack and the catcher almost say. Well, maybe finances not do no. So 90% of all the total revenue and grants, your workers, near side the tria FNZ, a service your debt. So cross the transfer no class and 115% means all Bobusia and what's our transfer. And I'm saying, enti mo ntwen na mo nye sikasɛm no nhyehyɛe
okay
ebi afi mienu na bi ahodwo kakra ba na mo start aplanning and ekra suggest say mo capo the statutory transfer no
okay
na mo capo statutory transfer no a ebabua mo menya sika kakra by the central government na mo hwe mo ye estimate here you say a campaign promise you no mind say campaign promise you no mind say sika some no ever talk ever do na you do here na why a developmental project na o ko bobo send ya ko tua obi a ono bi tua ne ba ayi enye fe this is in a sense say oh we between the two won say metima yenti na wa wonya tade sha ko to tade dia akwa che na wo da ho enti sanka mo stati kwa no na wo kire wo mu no ti say dia wo ka no na hiafo na ye de bo mo kakra kopno se bia hoto bebe mu na fe de mo amukwa betima tua no kwa so no ye send no kwa so a eno so kwa nkanya hwe
okay okay
any share no ya na me hwe ne ye enye campaign promise media make kire politicians say e wrong say ade a wo hwe sikasem no wo promise ne mo wo promise kwa na wo baso a e wo so hwe sikasem no hu de obetumi aye ne de ontumi nye and you come clean
okay
enti we de anya so me bu bi entia ma me ma wa busa question fufuro no me hwe president fufuro any president Mausa dem say so kakra wo
okay
president fufuro bae almost the promises we bring some require me gan aba na me follow on internet oba ya say bo me na sremo promise me nyina mo me pam to nche so sisika sem no anu ayedin ampa na anu ayedin enti enyiska afede was me dem enyiska eno anu ode ko share hepic buy enyiska sem buy e ma no hoto no sa na president Thomas so buy was if one time premium the can me say e wrong so be promise e bra wonim sisika ni ho e so buy no so that sikasem nenye national health insurance kwa egu na mko one time premium megu no enti enfant to ho na you say at the end of the day the man who adwendwene no awo mu enye se bia wo de wano aka na sikasem ni na wo bobusia che ya I don't know the ever. They say Ghana is suffering from what we call death disease. Death disease are about what I say, we himself really money be beba. Now we bobu shegu after they not could be a ukra won tribute. Oil man and craba and who in fasobium.
Eti doc mbacho me question to you again say president mama egusu shebo ade as say ye de aba bedu 99.7 e complain a okra okay ogusu shebo
answer na to asokra no mama nka kakra nka ho enye 99.7 bi
they say I saying
he pick buy and MC he pick coronavirus he buy in 2020 it has been projected that their service expenditure
yes
and compensation like sky the workers come drew 122%.
122%
of total revenue and grants. Meaning over 22% of your total revenue and grants now get your workers cut. And now to be your bushano a service out there.
Okay. So doc and Ambusa say in view of such critical situation we at present mama social boss about or the bibe can wo or be basically the etua nursing training college for or be infrastructure development or be more hospitals near the health sector in the main area or this capable be assembly members will be tia omoka obey review of free SHS or this kind of free more bosian or bebo I mean as anko service sa kanana
politicians money a problem I won't send ya papa and many will be maybe anka politicians here answer omona omoda store omo hihye ne money ya obi ahwato no omo hihye ne money ya ahochiraba now sa IFSA issue statement about 2 weeks ago Obianka me suspect say both the opposition and the ruling government omakai bi.
Omakai.
Na ruling government kwa so crowd dey omo anka so mo na share sa budget no money. And so what kato money. And both opposition and the ruling government omugo so promises. Na oya broni na wutu krom. Na so dey isa ruling government and opposition oye. No mu wi no masa ba say ye tabosia. E ka me pa mo. Mo ma no bo mo sa gusu se be we yan kan ta bo se na mamo
Okay.
The main person can position here, Mr. Dongo na tuko. You mean say MPP need to be there.
Debbie.
Aha. There was some campaign you know, on manifesto mo be community say. E man se ka sem no atopo. Ye ba e kwa be fa so. Aman e man se ka sem no asa general hobby no. Edie. That is the first thing they should do, both the ruling government and the opposition. Mr. Kasam, who told you, you suspect to be 1 year, 2 years, and not 3 years, even 4 years, no point between that brings the Kasam not back on track. Now, see, I'm going to be back on track. We are the Kano, Kakra Babano, the same way, it will be away, it will be away. We never know my move. Now, my move is a now promise amount for this care anyhow. It's both President Mama and the ruling government, they are at fault. I was a kind of question. Say Ghana for any issue, Casamuno, you know, Nasa promises and a bomber.
Doc, I know, my I say, yeah, there was a pa, Dr. Said Boache, and in Natural Coma, which some politicians account home, but share Muniska. I'm the best fan. They can't be here now. I say economy already. No, cause they say Sika de a tria Bosnia. Any a Ketiane, the idea change na grants in 122%. And so Mahama Gusua or Shaboni be account. Now, and no Sabosheni baby account, and I just say, Nema, a best crowd Ghana economy no immune because when your source of fund at free SH there, on about don't go complaining, sir. Yabra soon to on about don't go young close, you know. By the way, we'll be sending message disease infection center, no, a banker. It also say private sector pay. Armed forces, Ghana Armed Forces, Ghana Municipal Health Directorate, the percentages in there, but say, okay, say private sector, but the clarification is that a bank chefa womb. A bank, but who can say a bank chefa?
We have a bank chefa is money.
And I'm making.
They should be quoting the money for us.
Now, who can say a private sector? You didn't quote how much the private sector.
I'm sitting in Parliament. I have not appropriated any such money for.
And who say you woman, Ghana Forces woman, Ghana East Municipal.
May appropriate any sika for disease control center.
That's all more private sector. Okay, from a buying
budget. We haven't appropriated any money for the disease. So if they have found money somewhere outside the budget, they should tell us.
Okay.
But I'm saying, sir.
But your person who responded to Dr. Said motion be affecting Ghana economy.
First one is in Secretary, yeni can of free SHS. Enye San Secretary no can no hono. Can of Foriata, you can of Foriata can maybe a train. Okay. Yeni share kwanya ye be faswa. Sika ye di base free SHS no a checking and no. Any and Sacra ya deba. And yes, sir, in Sacra, I say one debate me to and one intimate. And to know I send a day at 2 quem. Okay. Second one is I'm privileged to a number of things, but I cannot say them. Okay. Yesterday, I was privileged to be in a workshop where we looked at your manifesto, how we are going to finance the revenue sources and all of that. But I cannot
manifesto that went to me and launching a Monday.
I cannot say specifically what we have agreed.
Okay.
But there is a whole section on how we are going to rebuild the economy. And that will address the fears of Dr. Said Boache and people like him. Okay. He knows that some of us consult him quite a lot because IFS is a big think tank. And we know their views and what they think we should do. Some of those consultations have informed in Shishaya Yadeba, Ebema Ghana Sika Semu Shishenu, Ebejina Naso. Enti eno ne Enti
munnim baby a mudi sika no befa monko bo besia meka ho.
You see unso oka no ka say ye bo besia wa ye bo almost 20% ye ditua only salary na say ye mfa kwa infrastructure. Ye ne can big push eno be ko infrastructure mo. Okay. So what you say? Enti we know very clearly how ye ba besi sa no man eno kwan. Omo a na no omo ko Cape Coast no. Unso omo kan hwe nkire kwan omo befa so a normal promise no betimi a finance bi omo kan bebra be si nei one village one dam bia ye beye no mikromo a ekunkura miensan edru beye September October na akokokora nyansuo no mu ene esika ya to agu kwa ya to agu fom kwa obekọ no akokokora nyansuo no so enye no bi na ye ba be ya magana fo ye woni da so say Ghana for energy yejuma ho you see 2016 no I say o pasesa and the bibia beka bi eto aso em nti amankofo emomo the benefit of the doubt so de yen so omo hwe tesi a ya so nsu asuansa ye hu ne mu aduru
okay
nti ne kan sisi a ne se nyame ya adom na nyina yete nkwamu a December 7th Otuama NDC parliamentary candidate no na Otuama His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ene Professor Nana Jane Pokua me no anante kakra ewo aproba okoye no na mehu se obotae pia obetimi ede aboa Ghana na ye de no ta John Mahama chi a obohu se enidie kakra ebeba ye vice presidential officer.
Just say you couldn't end your comment without punching Dr. Baumia. Say any day beba officer because any day or vice president officer that any day or vice president the other from Zanano Pokua ban san any day beba.
I say on one fair tracker ye chini wi a o se transparency ya chini nke anchina nka ye danam ye chini say kwalugo hwe ni ho na ya asase pan no afi o say transparency be na o twa ntraza ya cho
abusia for any critical issues and any honorable Isaac Adongo MP our Bogatanga Central any twetwe enkoma and wa beka de good Dr. Mamudu Baumia any MPP for some confo beside the MPP for ni ene agree say be 101 but when say lectures akese nyina aka acho margin e de etia na ebi o mo ne nya adwen ebi o so mo ne nya adwen Monday NDC say o the manifesto launch but o mo postpone o mo anu munim de to o mo postpone mo say anti-federal notice ebi asa sike ya o mo de be hye no and o mo ko pebia be hye mansa no mo de abanya sa ye Ghana for the e better ata o mo questions akwo say ye benya ho emoe na Basin Luke no so onim Dr. Donfe o China de economics ewo school of social policy wa ben pa he knows his craft nti nkofo na ene honorable Adongo o mo kwa kasa o ye MPP enye no kre o kana se de no kre no etie o ya ekọ ha na ekọ ha na wankasa wafa no se de etie ye rast de ye bo a ye da ase aseda kese enkomo mu nyina ye nua bema virus or state housing company ene ese wa weda nti yakopon sha na unuanom Dr. Ba ene abusuafo nyina so yakopon mfa hia kese o abusuafo wa America nyina so mo de yakopon sha na dom eja opa virus nti ye da ase ye de ibesi anum se ye de aseda bema Honorable Adongo ya gina tena anum se 3 hours nti ye da na se any production team na do ma se so so enye ho aboche be se do hwe miensa na eche nya omo gina omo na so a omo eye adwuma ye de besi eche bia abusuafo ade nyina ebetu monim ye fa me Afia Pokua yakopon ya adoma adwada ebesen hia ne mum adwada ko nyina ade chinsoma ede bebrem ya da ma se amom nyina mo ene hwe anope